www.kgosiefm.co.za. Coming to you live again on Facebook, which is Kgosietsile. My name is Kgosietsile. And again, on radio app, I'm here in the studio on a Wednesday today to talk about politics, man, with the comrades. Hello, comrades.
Hi.
Commander morning.
Let's the mic,
Commander morning.
Morning.
When a revolution, you can't sleep. It's the morning.
No, it's a morning,
Yes.
forever and ever.
Always.
Yes. Welcome, guys, again on the Wednesday show, man. Kgosietsile live show coming to you live on www.kgosiefm.co.za. And again, as I said, on Radio Garden app. If you have Radio Garden, just go to Radio Garden app and just search Kgosi FM. You will find us there. And Kgosi, and then you can go to Facebook now, and you will see or Kgosietsile, you will see us live in studio. I'm with Msizi, Commander Msizi from MK. He will introduce himself. And I'm with Mama Melita Mmela.
Melita Mmela.
Mela, Mr. Melita Mmela, our community resident. That's good. And we have Mr. BK himself from ANC Youth League. How's it, Mfana?
Well, how are you?
Why not like? You owe me a lot, Mfana. And on the line we have General Smuts Matshe, who's an MPL for Communist Party in Northwest. General Dumela.
Good evening, Dumela Mbakait.
Yeah, thank you, General, for joining us, guys. Welcome the General, please. General, because he's smart. General Smart,
Yes.
so we call him General because of that. He's an MP, son in MPL, yeah, Communist Party General.
Yeah, but remember, we are on the ticket of the ANC.
Oh, all right. So what do we then? Then King? What has he GNU yet again?
It's an alliance. So you have two ANC representatives in studio against one MK member.
I have 4 people are going to be talking to us, man, about this.
No,
thing,
it's understood. It's understood, comrade.
Yeah.
We see this ambush.
Yeah. Welcome all of you to Kgosi FM and Kgosi, the Kgosi on a live show. We are going to be on YouTube tonight. Go to YouTube and search for the Kgosi on a live show and you will find us there. And if you are catching us live, it's www.kgosiefm.co.za. Thank you so much for you taking your time and your data to come and talk to us. We work at GNU today again. GNU, Zilarke, GNU. You got GNU more video today.
I do some
GNU. So I want us to talk about the agreement which the GNU has with 6 parties in parliament, and the General Smuts will give us his take, and then you guys will give me your take. Melita, we're not we're a community member. How does this affect you and all that? But I'm going to give you my opinion first about this whole thing. Maybe let's do this. Introduce yourself, Msizi. Then it's Melita Mmela, and then BK, your positions and what you guys are doing. Eh? Thomas.
All right. My name is Msizi. Msizi. Msizi Mabunda.
Okay,
I'm the MK Youth League Deputy Convener of Gauteng.
All right. Melita?
My name is Melita Mmela, based in Philippine Park, Pretoria West. It's an honor for me to be here, and for me it's a start of a good thing, being a community member and invited in this space.
Thank you, Mamzo.
Bonginkosi Ndlovu, ANC Youth League Emergency Unit Coordinator of Tshwane.
What is emergency unit?
We have established the emergency unit after the elections, where we saw that the youth vote has been lost via the ANC due to this thing of these structures of TTs from Gauteng to Tshwane.
Okay.
So as an emergency kickback to that, we've formed an emergency unit across the whole of Tshwane.
All right.
To respond to the crisis that we are currently in.
I see.
Of a lack of youth participation in the ANC, because certain youth leaguers have taken a point to themselves to use the youth league as a vehicle for them to enter parliaments, legislatures, and even councils without actually going down and doing the work of mobilizing the youth under the pen of the ANC.
I see.
It's called factionalism.
Yeah. General, maybe up to you to introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing and where are you?
Good evening. I'm Smuts Matshe. Well, I'm a student of political science. Largely that will be my input tonight. Just here from being a student of political science.
Okay.
I've just resigned from the Northwest Provincial government. I've been in the office of the Premier as a Chief Director responsible for service delivery interventions, but also helping as part of the Premier's advisors. So I've, from Friday, assumed role as a member of the Northwest Provincial Legislature, but I'm also the provincial chairperson of South African Communist Party in the Moses Kotane province.
All right. No, welcome, gentlemen and lady, and thank you so much for coming through. BK, I hope it's the beginning of this thing. I get it. Our time what like I saw.
No, we're always open to engagement.
Why what? yeah, you are. All right, today's topic about Ralbo Maki, we want to talk about this GNU. It has been a buzz. Hey, since the elections, we've been told about GNU, Government of National Unity. I've got my own take on this GNU, and I'm going to share it now with you guys because I get what you're going to have an opinion. We're going to discuss it, right?
A sober discussion, yes.
Hey?
No, we're going to have a sober discussion.
Yes, of course. We're going to have a sober discussion. We're going to discuss the intent. I think it's 9 pages of long. Who wrote this thing?
Not even Balula knows. How would you know?
No, who wrote this thing? Like,
No,
we'll come to that. It's fine. We'll come to that. Tampotar, who's the author of this thing? Maybe he can be able to explain to us what's happening because that lost it. Yeah. All right. Okay. We let me just give people. Before then, I almost forgot. They're gonna kill me. We're gonna go to our sponsor Bailey, and then we can be able to continue the show. Okay, guys. So just give me a second to give acknowledge because if they don't, I'm gonna give my name anymore. All right. We're gonna be back after this. This show is brought to you by Segongane Medical Services and Clinic. They are a private clinic situated in number 70 Kgosietsile in Westview, Danville. They specialize on the following: primary health care, ailment diagnosis and treatment, including medication, wound care, family planning, well baby clinic, basic ultrasound, laboratory blood services, treatment of chronic illnesses, treatment and management of patients on ARVs, wellness screening, antenatal clinic, HIV services and counseling. They have a pharmacy on site and they are doing CCMDD services as well, OHS clinic, circumcision clinic and abortion services. Their cell phone number is 064 548 7176 or 071 422 8576. Again, the address is 70 Kgosietsile in Westview, Pretoria West in Danville. Cell phone number again is 064 548 7176 or 071 422 8576. Yeah, that is our sponsor for today, Segongane Medical Services in Pretoria West, number 70 Kgosietsile. Their number is 064 548 7176. If you want to become and consult, they do. They don't take medical aid yet, by the way. They forgot to put inside this advert. They are only taking cash for now, so it's 350 consultation and medication is excluded, but it depends on what you're going to be getting from them. All right, fine. GNU. Mr. Smuts, maybe start with you or about what is GNU. Before I go to your voice notes, I've got some little recordings that I got. And then Balula and Mrs. Zile, because maybe that's what I want to concentrate on today, because we've heard much about the GNU, correct? But then the question is, will this marriage really succeed, or is it gonna fail? You know, so I think maybe we can start in that context. General Smuts, General Smuts, according to your knowledge, what is this GNU people have been hearing about? Just in a nutshell, 4 minutes. I'll tell you. I'm timing you now. Just give us a little background of what is this GNU.
Well, maybe let's start by explaining that GNU is part of the concepts in political science. Okay. Just like in geography, they'll tell you that there's east, there's west, there's south.
Yes.
So even in political science, there's an arrangement that is dictated by circumstances. It's called a government of national unity.
Yeah.
It normally happens when you have some conflict or a national question that requires the participation of all parties. And most of the time, you don't just rely on an electoral outcome.
Yeah.
You are guided by what you want to achieve in the interest of a nation. So it's different from a coalition. A coalition is largely driven by the desire just to get a majority to govern.
I see.
Okay. So this is also distinct from an alliance. An alliance is of particular political organizations, and it's not all the time that an alliance is driven by the desire to govern.
All right.
Which is also different from a front. A front can be issue-based, wherein you say, we normally don't agree, but on this matter we agree. And therefore we work together on an issue-based. Okay?
Yes.
So these are political concepts. Like, for example, the ANC and the Communist Party, they are in an alliance. You can't say they are in a coalition.
Okay.
Equally, the Communist Party is working with a number of structures on what we call the Financial Sector Transformation Coalition. It's a program. They agreed that the financial sector needs to be transformed.
Okay.
So they are in that kind of a front wherein they agree on the. So in South Africa, after the May 29 election, there was no outright winner.
All right.
Okay? But on the table, we are seated with a crisis of unemployment.
Yes.
An economy that does not create jobs.
Yeah.
You are seated with a big challenge of service delivery. And the understanding of the leaders then was that maybe this presents a crisis that requires all of us to can confront.
Yeah.
So that our focus is not more on getting the numbers to govern, but should be about mobilizing everybody behind the need to deal with this particular matter. Obviously, using the state as an important instrument to can attend to this urgent questions.
So wasn't there another alternative
that's
that could have been taken, like, but again, this thing, minority government?
Well, minority government is a bit risky in that with a minority government, the parties in parliament, they will say, we'll support you, we'll support your name of a president. But beyond that, we can't confirm our support.
All right.
Okay? So it means it's a party that has a particular number, more numbers than others, but it does not have a majority, outright majority.
Yeah.
So it goes out to seek support for the election of its leaders to lead and constitute government.
Okay.
So it's a bit unstable because at any time it can be challenged.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the problem with the minority government. Yes, you are there. Like if the ANC was going to constitute a minority government, they were going to use their 40% and get the support of others just to elect the speaker and the president. But beyond that, there's nothing that's agreed. And remember, in our South African system, after constituting parliament, the next step is now to constitute government.
Okay.
And the first step is to elect the president. And once elected, he ceases to be a member of parliament so that he can then go and constitute cabinet. So a government of national unity, whilst it's focusing on the constitution of government, it does not disregard the need for the lawmaking forum called parliament to equally facilitate its processes in such a way that it's able to give us a cabinet.
All right.
So as we speak, technically, the GNU has not been operational. It only comes once government is constituted.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Yes.
We'll come to that one in a minute. BK, are we having a GNU now or having a coalition?
I think I should also add on to what the previous speaker said. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
In 1994, if you remember, the first government constituted also of a GNU.
Okay.
Which was a transitional government that led us into the democracy that we are in.
Mm-hmm.
So when we speak about the GNU, it's nothing new to us. It's something that has happened. But currently now, because then it was a different predicament, we had the 51 plus.
Yes.
Now we do not.
Okay.
So us as the youth, we are still saying the verdict is out on the GNU that we're having now.
Well, how
in
so?
terms of it sticking to its core mandate, which it's saying that, which when we analyze, we are seeing it as just a government that's going to focus on service delivery and not on policy matters. Because when we look at policy, there's too many contradictions within the DA and the ANC.
Yeah.
The IFP, not as much.
Yeah.
But hence we are saying that if we're going to speak policy through the GNU, it's going to be a difficult discussion.
I see.
And we must be honest with that.
Okay.
If we're going to say that for the next 5 years there won't be any policy decisions made to change, it's more practical, because on policy there's too many ideological differences.
All right.
So when we analyze it as the youth, we are saying that they have promised us through this document that services will be delivered as normal. They will prioritize putting the people first.
Yeah.
But still, when we come on to the issue of policy, there's still many question marks that have been raised. And as the previous speaker said, it has not started yet until
the government is
constituted.
All right. Ms. Melita Mmela, what do you think about, do you have a coalition now, or do you have a government of national unity? I'm going to come with my concept.
Yes, thanks. So as a person, or maybe I'm not going to say that I'm representing people because I came here by myself. So
yes.
As a person who is in South Africa, when I heard GNU, Government of National Unity, what comes to my head immediately is that we are heading towards the right direction for South Africa. But then the foundation of GNU, because GNU is a very big word. Once we go Government of National Unity, for me it means people will be excited. People will see that, okay, now we are all being involved. So where I'm sitting right now is that before I even want to talk further, I just want to look at the document that is presented in front of you there.
This one,
My worry is that I'm looking at the document
9-page.
that I am sitting here and I am told that it will be tabled in this forum. But I don't see any official letterhead. I don't know if there are signatures.
This
So
one,
I am very worried that then sitting around this table, I am expected to be talking to a document that is not official.
Yeah.
This is just a draft that I can myself just sit and just think how I want to run the country. So I'm worried that the parties leaders come to the forum like this with documents like this, because as a member of the community, or a taxpayer, let me put it that way also.
Yes.
I want to put it that way as well. So I would like to see a document that has got a letterhead, official letterhead that says you're sitting around the table, you are discussing an official a document that we can all engage in. So this is just waste of time. It's just it's really waste of time. So somebody is still working on this document so that this document can come into play. So for now, I don't even think this is a document that, if we talk about
Government of National Unity,
how do you speak of Government of National Unity where you're showing me a document that is as like a student can just sit and try to structure something that they think how South Africa should be run? So we need a decent official document that really can impress us as also the people of South Africa. This is not something that we can even consider to discuss.
Yeah, that's what we got from BK.
No, it's
not
just
BK
waste of
side,
time.
not him. But that's what we got from not one and just
From his
relax.
organization.
From organization, yes. We got this. That's what we have on the internet now. That's what has been issued out. But we'll talk about that later on. You see, same thing, Bafanas. Do you think this is a marriage of convenience, or do you think this is really a GNU? Because I'm going to bring my own GNU concept into this thing after you speak.
Okay, firstly, this is the official document that we all have access to, that was signed by Fikile Mbalula and Kgosi FM.
Yes.
Yeah, just to give perspective on that me and my comrade BK agree on.
Yeah.
Okay, the issue of the GNU, like BK said, it's a 1994 concept.
Yes.
It was a transitional government. But now we need to speak to the reasons why there had to be such a scenario, a situation that took place. It's because we came from a past of war, bloodshed, and violence.
Yes.
So there was distrust between blacks and whites.
And whites, yeah.
And investors and all of these things. So now a sober decision was taken that, look, let's have the black government and the white government form a government of national unity,
Yes.
so that we can bring together the two races, and then we can move,
Yeah.
and we can mend all the wounds and all of that, right? So that was done back then as a result of the violence that had come from in the struggle years.
Okay.
Now, currently, I heard our comrade Smuts
Smuts
talk
Matshe, yeah.
about there's a need because there's unemployment and all of these things.
Yes.
Now, unemployment was there in 2016 when the metros were lost.
Yeah.
When there were coalition governments in metros. Unemployment was there in 2021 under the same circumstances.
Yeah.
Service delivery issues were there at that time as well. And service delivery at the most basic level is at the local government level. So there were needs back then, and
Yeah.
there's a need currently.
Yeah.
What we are seeing right now is not a GNU. What
It's
we are
what?
seeing is a coalition plus, where it's two organizations
Yeah.
that hold the bulk of the seats
Yes.
in parliament,
Yeah.
and that then they have invited the stepchild, which is the AFP, to form part of the coalition. Because if you read this coalition agreement and you read clause 28, you read clause 19,
Yeah.
and you read clause 24, then you'll understand.
I want you to give it to me one by one. Can we ball pen speed? That marking pen one, because I want to read them so that you can be able to, maybe Smart can be able to interrogate them.
Tomaga 28.
2080 on which one? The foundation, the functional.
No. Clause 28. There's numbers there. Just go to 28.
Or 28.
Yes, there's a reason why I'm doing that. Yes, you'll understand.
All right, let me go to 28. You get 23. Yeah,
It says amendments to this document must be agreed to by sufficient consensus.
Yes.
Fine. Then we go to clause 24, right?
24, let's see.
24.
Yeah.
It says, in keeping with the spirit of an inclusive GNU, it is agreed that the composition shall be discussed and agreed amongst the existing parties whenever new parties desire to be part of the GNU.
Okay.
Right. And then we go to clause 19.
19,
which speaks about the sufficient consensus that I was telling you about in clause 28.
Yes.
Which is what governs this whole entire arrangement.
Yeah.
It's sufficient consensus
Yes.
that governs the whole thing. Because if there's no sufficient consensus,
Yeah.
then this whole agreement falls apart. Now let's go through 19.1. All parties have had the opportunity to express their views. Well, it says sufficient consensus exists when
Yeah.
all parties have had the opportunity to express their views. 19.2, despite reasonable attempts to resolve disagreements and find common ground, there is no general consensus.
Okay.
19.3, parties to the GNU representing 60% of seats.
And which is ANC and DA
Which
combined.
is ANC and DA combined,
Yeah.
right? And then it says any party that disagrees has been able to formally record the objections. Now, let's pause.
Yeah.
Now, this basically means that if the ANC and the IFP want to proceed with a decision, it means they will not be able to because they don't represent the 60% of the seats in parliament.
Yes.
So it would mean they would need the DA to come on board. Then it's going to be 60% plus with the DA on board.
Yeah.
But the DA and the ANC can actually take a decision without the IFP, right?
Okay.
And then the DA decided they don't want the EFF.
They don't want MK
They don't
as
want
well.
MK as well because
Yeah.
then it's going to tamper with the 60% clause that they've put there as a shark waiting that Mbalula did not see approaching.
Okay.
So now the question then would be, does this not seem like a coalition between DA and the ANC? And then the plus is every other party that's coming on board. Abo PAC, Abo Good. And they've got under 1%.
All of them.
Yes, they've got under 1%. I think it's maybe PA that has maybe more than that.
Yeah.
So they don't have the numbers to push the 60 to arrive at the 60%.
Okay.
They don't. It's only DA. So basically, the DA has got veto powers with this agreement.
But let's say they don't have.
No, but the agreement. Look, this is English and this is contract.
Yes.
This is a contract. This is an agreement that was signed between the two.
Yes.
Remember the following. What Mbalula says is a problem because they still need the DA in parliament.
Yeah.
You need to vote. So if Mbalula says no, we don't need the 60% or we don't need the DA, and the DA is like, okay, fine, then vote in parliament. Do you think they're gonna get those seats?
All right. So this on this is not a GNU.
It's a coalition between the two, and then they just put a blanket and said it's a GNU. Yes, and it's there in the clause there.
All right, General Smuts, clause 19. Parties out to the GNU representing 60% of the seats in the National Assembly agree and agree. 60% take ANC plus DA, and that to me sounds like a very serious grand coalition. What is your take on that?
Maybe the starting point is just to clarify that the GNU is not exclusively a South African concept.
Okay.
It's a concept that applies across. That's why I said at the beginning, it's a political term.
Yes.
That has particular circumstances.
Marakere, this time,
now,
General, before Tolapili, we are just looking at the area where we are in now. We are looking at our own situation.
Yeah. No, I'm saying this so that we can understand that, so that when we test it, we must not only use the example of 94. We must also be able to test it against how the Hutus and the Tutsis manage their differences through a GNU, how a number of cases where GNU was mooted.
Yeah.
That's fine. The second thing that I think then coming to your question, from where I'm seated, the issue is more about which, unfortunately, the organizations that are at the center of this discussion, they are nationalist organizations.
Yeah.
Okay, they are nationalist organizations. But from where I am seated, I think the issue is more about the inability of the electoral outcome to resolve the conflict between those that have the means and those that don't have the means. Okay? So it's a conflict that is evident in South Africa.
Yes.
And no electoral outcome can resolve it. Those that have the means will never accept if those that don't have the means dictate on what must happen.
Yeah.
Equally, we have reached a point where in those that don't have said, it's enough. These people have had control over our economy for this number of years. It's our time now to also partake and benefit from our economy.
Yes.
So it's only that the nationalist organizations are unable to articulate this matter in a manner that really show us what is the reality of the South African situation.
Yeah.
Okay? So where we are now, coming to the question about the clauses. Remember, it's the ANC that had 40%.
Yeah.
And it's the one that invited everybody.
But the question again, okay, are we having a GNU now, or are we having a grand coalition between the ANC and the DA? Much as clause 19.3, parties who are holding 60% of the seats. And in all fairness, like MC said, is the DA and the ANC. So are we having really a grand coalition between the two parties, or are we having a GNU?
For me, in terms of my understanding of the theory behind the GNU,
yes,
it can only be tested at the point wherein you constitute government, okay, or the executive.
Okay.
So at this stage, we are all speculating. But at that point, when government is now constituted, you will be able to say, this one is not a GNU.
Yes.
Or this one is a coalition.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because government, the concept is a government of national unity.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So at the point, we've passed the stage now of getting a president. He's now in office some few hours ago. Now the ball must start rolling so that we can now test this GNU. Is it a GNU?
So are you saying we do not know now if it's a GNU or not?
Nobody will say no, we'll know now.
Well,
it's only at the point when government is constituted that you'll then say, yeah. Because all these processes that are there,
yes,
they are actually intended to guide that process of government constitution.
A coalition.
Yeah, coalition.
Yeah.
No, it's not a coalition. I think he's clarified it very well.
Aring, DK.
What he's just said.
Yeah.
The taste of the pudding will come out as soon as we've elected the ministers.
Yeah.
Because as much as you'd like to say that the other smaller part or the plus parties don't ever say, we must also look at how KZN has been formed.
Okay.
The one that's holding that structure is the IFP.
Yes.
So when they say we must go, they must consult. It's very difficult to say that other parties won't participate.
Yeah.
As much as when the DA also wants to put a decision on board, we must come on board. As much as you can say that they are the overwhelming national,
yes,
but there's provinces again,
yes,
which the holding crew is on the national footing that holds the provinces together.
Okay.
So I believe that every party has a voice in this consultation. Not every decision will go to voting.
Okay.
So you in consulting, you can persuade. You engage, you persuade. So unless they would say that they cannot consult or persuade, everything must go to vote. We can say that it will be a failed coalition, as you guys are saying. But as it stands now, it's an agreement that is tangible, that will only be tested once we have.
Then why are you calling it GNU? Why was it called GNU?
But I need to enter now.
But then why was it called GNU? From the beginning, it was called GNU, Government of National Unity, from the beginning. Why was it called that? If now you're going to have to wait until you have government and we say, okay, now let's see if this thing is GNU or not.
The intent, as this is an intent document. It's an intent of a government of unity.
Yeah, which is still coming.
So when you are intending,
yes,
the only time you'll see that the intent has come fully is when it's practiced. So that's why I'm saying the only time that it can be practiced is when all these structures are formed.
Okay.
Then we can see in the pudding when this is that actually it's a GNU, or we can say actually.
Yeah.
Then you can render our verdict. No, but it's not.
Okay, it's
but
fine.
For now,
it's
we
an
are
intent.
saying that the intent is there.
Yeah.
Let's see if the pudding tastes as the chef prepared it.
Okay. Intent between which parties?
All the parties that are under agreement.
No, 60% of the DA.
But no,
close
19.2. No. Remember,
because more
consultation.
Here we are talking about.
But you're saying consultation.
But we are talking here about intent, right? Something which has to be seen later, not now, isn't it? Something which has to be seen if it will work. That's how Smuts has tried to clarify it, and you yourself agree with that, which has never been ever since this whole thing it was put out there for people. It was more of this government of national unity is here. We just have to do the other formalities, president, vice, and all the ministries, and this is how it's going to be. Hence, the DA will tell the ANC can. I've got the recording. I'm going to play it.
But what does the document say? It's an intent.
It's an intent.
Thank you. So when we're going to quote the document, you must quote it holistically.
Yes.
It's an intent document. So hence we are saying to that, let the pudding happen, then we can charge. But that document that we're debating now is a document of intent.
Then why then are they calling it GNU? Why not say, listen, this is an agreement between me and this one to intend to start something later on after government has been instituted?
No, because...
Why are they always now all of a sudden DA telling people that, listen, you cannot do it on your own? Already the DA itself is dictating.
Do you know why? Do you know why? Do you know why?
Raising its views.
Do you know why
they
can't do that?
Yeah.
Because you cannot have a government and a cabinet and have ministers and bypass this thing. The DA needs to have their own ministers there.
Okay.
The same way in KZN, I'm going back to the KZN thing that he misled us on.
Yes.
The KZN issue, there's DA MECs there. They got, finance, and they got public works.
Yeah.
That is a government that is there. The DA was at the center of deploying their comrades there. Well, they're not comrades, those ones, but anyways.
Yeah.
So now the question is, so is now
Why are you forgetting the ANC MECs, my brother?
No, but those ones are dead,
them.
man. They're irrelevant.
But they are there.
Okay, when they do more, they don't tell
They
them.
are there. Discouraged. But he's disturbing me. But he's disturbing me. He's right. Yes, I was speaking on the issue of the DA and also having their members in the state.
Yeah.
But now Cyril cannot wake up tomorrow and announce his own deputy president because there needs to be consensus.
He needs to consult.
Yes, there needs to be consensus. And
but
it's a coalition agreement. He can't go and have a minister of finance and put his own comrade there because there needs to be consensus with all of those individuals that are there. That's 60%. So this agreement of intent that is there and all of this nice package that they're coming up with, no, at the end of the day, the parties need to meet.
Yeah.
And they need to vote on these things and then decide, I'm taking that ministry, you taking that ministry, and so forth, based on the percentages that they got in during the elections.
Yes.
So this is actually the binding document that exists between the two to work together and build the same government that is referring to.
Yeah.
Cyril and the NC cannot build a government and then bring the DA on board. It won't work. It doesn't work like that. You have an agreement where you agree that we are all going to be moving in this direction. This is a coalition agreement that we're looking at. You don't form a government and then have an agreement afterwards.
Yeah.
You have an agreement before.
Then you form this thing.
Yes, we've seen it.
Okay.
So this is, whether it's a GNU or coalition, it's a coalition agreement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's go back to 94, which actually you mentioned, BK. Mandela had 62%, if I'm not mistaken, right? Outright majority. To my understanding, Higher Government of National Unity is more of, I will offer and ask you guys to join me. I have won the elections like Mandela did. Actually, you did quote Mandela's one. So let me just give what happened. I don't know how many of you are alive for how old were you now? Because now I was like, what, 16? All right, so Mandela said, okay, 62% I have now.
So because you did not vote in 94.
No, I can't vote, but I'm going to high school. So I did not vote yet. I voted at other elections that came after that.
It's big notes.
Yeah, you see. So Mandela said, come guys, Afa declared the third presidency, deputy, and then Afa picked Bota, I think, minerals and energy and others. But they did not make any demands. The last time I checked, if I'm not mistaken, maybe somebody can correct me. They never made an intent of like GNU. They came as being asked to come and join an existing government which won elections. So now, Smuts said something earlier. A coalition is more of we come with our demands for support, right? But a GNU is we come and we help in a way. If I'm not wrong, he will correct me. So that's why are we having now a real GNU? But now it's no longer a GNU, it's now an intent for the GNU to be formed. What are we having at the moment, Mr. Smuts?
Can I just
sorry, in the general, I was Melita.
Yes. It worries me, it bothers me that we're sitting around the table and trying to figure out if are we in the GNU right now when the president of the country stood there in front of everybody in the world confirming that we are in the GNU and everybody is very happy about it. So, but it's good that we are interrogating this, but the president of the country stood there and told us, the people of South Africa, that we are in the GNU. But I'm happy that I'm sitting here and I'm here that we are trying to interrogate this. And
we're actually intending to do a GNU. It's not like we are in one.
It's not a serious set.
Remember that when it comes to this this GNU, it's not the same as 94.
And it will never be the same because they say 94 was the real one.
So I'm saying the one in 94, it was still when they were still drawing up our constitution, was only adopted in 96, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So hence they needed the 2/3 so that it can articulate what most South Africans wanted that voted for the ANC.
Okay.
Currently now, when we sit as we are now, we must first speak of how did the electorate go to the polls. The electorate went to the polls and did not vote for an outright party to get a majority.
Yes.
It voted. It was split in various parties. So no party, we can say yes, we have the highest votes, but no party can say actually I'm bringing this much and bring. So the people's voice was that they wanted change from a party that just makes decisions on its own. And primarily when I say that we are in a crisis as the Youth League, we speak of this crisis.
You speak of ANC,
yes,
correct?
Of ANC. We speak of this crisis because if you go to Limpopo, your Northwest, they won with an overwhelming majority. The Youth League is intact. They know when they go to speak to their constituency what their constituency wants. You come to Gauteng, we are led by a youth league that still does not understand what the youth want.
Yeah.
We are led by people that still want to use this vehicle of the youth league so that they can become MECs.
Yeah.
As we speak now, there was a communication that was sent out, publicly so, saying that we, the RTT of Tshwane, endorse so and so to be a MEC. How can you endorse when you could not even win the votes of the youth? There was plate already, but you are saying that you are endorsing.
And who gave that communication?
So the RTT of the Youth League in Tshwane. So we are saying that until the Youth League gets a grips here in Tshwane, that you must go back to the townships. You must go back to the ground. You must go back to young people.
Okay.
So when you say that you are speaking on their behalf, you know what you are speaking of.
Okay.
Now this government of unity comes.
Yeah.
This government of unity comes. On paper, we would like to support it. It as the youth of Tshwane.
Yeah.
We would like to support it, but we have seen what coalitions have done.
What about the whole? What about the whole youth of AC Youth League? Do they support this one
No,
or not?
I can't speak on behalf of the youth.
You're
league
speaking on behalf of
national.
Tshwane right
I'm
now,
speaking on
yes.
behalf of Tshwane.
So do
That
you guys
we have
support this
seen-
one or
we
not?
have seen, we have felt the brim of coalitions.
Yes.
We know what, when you speak of coalitions, what comes into play.
Yeah.
Hence, we are saying that when it comes to this thing of national government, if as ourselves as the Youth League, we see that the issues of unemployment, poverty,
Yeah.
these issues are tackled where we find ourselves as graduates getting jobs.
Yes.
We can say that it works. That's why we are saying the proof will be in the pudding.
Okay.
Currently now we are open and we are observing as these things are formed. But we do not want in Tshwane for us a youth league to proclaim a MEC with them failing to win the ground.
Okay. So
That
have
is
you
bogus.
so have you raised your objections with
We
the
have
lead
raised
motherboard?
Motherboard.
We
Motherboard,
have
yes.
sent out communique. We
Yeah.
have said very well that we do not support anyone in Gauteng that's going to say in the name of the youth
Okay.
they want to lead
All right.
in the legislature.
General-
we don't support that.
Is this marriage gonna last, Mebra, or what's gonna happen, Pila? Because it seems like now, within the very ranks of the ANC, we're having now a fracture. Again, the youth here and whatnot, because no one has ever consulted them. If I'm going to paint you wrong, BK. So,
No, we are not saying that.
What are you
we
saying?
are saying that the verdict is still out on this GNU because when we analyze it, it speaks of service delivery only.
Yeah.
When it comes to changing the policies,
Yes.
it does not speak to that because there's so many contradictions.
I see.
So when we're saying that we're speaking to service delivery, we are saying that as it says on the document, they're
Yeah.
gonna meet this thing of they're gonna meet us on the ground in terms of services being provided on the ground.
Yeah.
Unemployment, job opportunities are going to come again.
Yeah.
And so forth. So we are saying that until we start seeing the fruits of that, we're still going to be in observing and judging this thing of a government of national unity.
I see. General, your take on what BK said, because you are his alliance partner, Pila Pila. Before that, question the SSCP said if you guys are gonna go with the DA. So why where do you stand now?
Yeah, well, I am not assigned to speak on behalf of the Communist Party. What I can only update you on is that there was a Politburo discussion immediately after the elections.
Yeah.
Some few days after the elections. The view of the Politburo was that there's no outright winner.
Yes.
And secondly, a minority government is too risky for our country. Thirdly, avoid a situation wherein we are forced to go for a rerun.
Okay.
Because it will be something that South Africans are not will not be ready for a rerun generally.
Why not? Why not?
Why?
Well, let's give you some.
Yes.
Well, let's give you a very simple, practical example.
Yes.
just on the agency that runs the elections.
IEC.
They budget for national elections on the base of a 5-year period. Their budgeting system did not anticipate a rerun. Okay? So you're going to have a crisis of that agency.
Yes.
With no resources and not being ready, you're going to have a crisis. But when you have the agencies in India, in a number of countries, their manner of putting aside the resources, they do it in such a way that they make provision for a rerun. Okay? And secondly, the people generally, and let's face the truth, the number of people who participated in the elections, themselves, they are sending a message. It's a protest vote.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because people are saying the entire political system is not helpful to us.
Yes.
They are not saying a particular party, but the entire political system. And that's also what the president said in his message today, in his acceptance speech today.
Okay.
Okay? So you wouldn't want to push a country into a rerun when it's not ready. Okay?
Marvin, don't you think it was going to actually help the country have an outright maybe majority, winner once and for all, instead of now scrambling or something like that, you know?
Yeah, but the danger is that some of the parties that are currently represented, which are making a good contribution, okay?
Yeah.
You run the risk of losing them.
Like what, for example?
Because normally, look, there are parties that are having smaller seats there, and you really want to respect the outcome.
Okay.
For an example, all the parties that are now in parliament, they are making a valuable contribution. They are unique in there. For example, MK is unique in its own way. EFF is unique in its own way.
Yes.
UAT is unique in its own way. PAC is unique in its own way.
Yeah.
Okay. Patriotic Alliance is also unique in terms of how it wants to contribute. Take, for example, the party of Reverend Misho. They are also unique. Al-Jama, quite unique. So a rerun normally makes the smaller parties not to be ready. Okay? They are likely to be kicked out because of their resources, number one. Number two, the voters will work on the basis of what we call political reasons. Okay. Like now, how we are discussing the GNU.
Yes. The
we are
coalition
ignoring the smaller, well, whatever you'll call it now. Like I said, now the test is in the actual constitution of government.
Yes.
Okay? So you are discussing as if it's only the ANC and the DA, ignoring the contribution of other parties.
But it is.
So I'm just saying you run the risk of just focusing on these big ones and ignoring the smaller ones, and we will lose them in the rerun. But the last point that I want to make quickly before you come in with your question.
Yes.
Just on the 1994 situation. Remember, well, you had two groups. You had a group that was for apartheid and one group against apartheid.
Yeah.
Okay? So, practically, even if the ANC will have won, those that were for apartheid were not going to accept the ANC rule. Okay? Equally, if you had the National Party winning the elections, do you think the people from the ANC will have accepted the National Party as a legitimate government? They won't.
Yeah.
So they agreed that whoever wins does not matter. We will have a government that includes everyone long before. Okay? They agreed this thing long before the actual elections.
Okay.
Second thing that's important about 1994, the debates when there was now agreement on a non-racial society, a society that disregards any form of discrimination. The issue was, when I was still in the youth league then, I was the chairperson when we were debating this thing, late 92, early 93. The debate were about whether a constitutional writing body should be elected or should be appointed.
Okay.
Okay. So the debate I even remember when we were there in the then Western Transvaal, we said, is it a constituency assembly or a constituent assembly? So the debates were around that. So the key thing was to have a program, and that program was about coming up with a constitution. So finally it was resolved that the same parliament will be the constitution writing body. Okay, so some sessions of parliament were translated into the sessions of the constituent assembly.
Okay.
So your normal sitting will cease, and then there will be debates about the constitution. I thought I just needed to share that brief background on this one, which is distinct from what we have now. What we have now, you did not have this pronounced before the elections.
Was it ever pronounced before elections?
No, it was not.
Oh, okay.
In 94, yes, it was.
It was pronounced.
Before 94, yes. We were quite clear that we will have the government of national unity.
Regardless of who won.
Slovo came with a document.
Yeah.
Remember after the elections.
Yes.
Yeah, after the elections, if you'll recall. Oh, by the way, we did not vote. But for those of us who voted,
yes,
immediately after the elections, there was no time to discuss. It was implementation. Okay? Madiba constituted cabinet, guided by the agreement on the composition of the government of national unity.
Okay.
We didn't start the discussions after the elections. After the elections, it was implementation. J. Naidu being the minister of RDP, minister in the president. So all these things unfolded.
Yes.
And then Cyril Ramaphosa, Ruth Mayer being there as part of the lead in writing the constitution. All these things were agreed before.
I'm glad you agree.
Okay?
You agree with me. I'm glad.
Yeah. So
now I'm giving you what is factual and what is in the theory of political sciences.
Yeah.
Not in terms of party political arguments. Because currently, sometimes the parties argue and ignore the political theory behind this concept. So we're in a difficult situation as South Africa now. So these debates are healthy because in themselves, they help to show the loopholes that might be there, that needs the attention of the leadership. So now I like it in South Africa because we don't just close our eyes and say, Amen. When things develop, we engage.
Okay.
And out of this engagement, we enrich the final product. Okay?
All right.
One thing that I'm happy about in all these discussions, it's about the centrality of the people. If you look at the 10 principles that are there in the draft, there's an important one on public participation. Okay? And basically it says,
it's
there. Yeah, it's there. Because the purpose of putting it there is to ensure that the experience of the metros, the experience of the hung municipalities don't repeat themselves in a national stage.
Yeah.
Wherein it's about the interest of the leaders, no more about what the people want. I mean, people make deals in municipalities to say, remove this one, I'll vote for you, and then you make me this position. And question is, where do you feature the people? So in this suggested draft, there's the centrality of the people, but linked to that is the commitment for a social dialogue that involves not only political parties, but all other social partners, okay, to say, where do we want to take our country?
All right.
And like I said at the beginning, the main issue is how do we resolve this conflict that is not pronounced but is there between those that own something and those that don't own anything.
All right. I'm going to play some clips, guys. And I want us to interrogate that because this is very so interesting. We came here having a GNU, right? Now we're having intent to form one. It's not even there yet, formalized.
The document is clear. It's an intent.
I can, but you've been screaming for it's there, BK. That's
there.
the problem.
Ramaphosa said it's there.
Yes, Ramaphosa said it's there.
They said
But
it has
if
been
we're arguing
constituted.
the document says intent. It's in black and white.
Don't start to play semantics. It's not going to work.
No, it's not. It's the document. It's not me. You can see the document.
The president of the country,
which means they are
This
This
is a foundation.
Yes.
This is a foundation document which is going to be used to constitute a government.
Because
And that's exactly what he said.
Yes.
The
General, yes.
That's exactly what he said. Hence, I said he agrees with me. There is a foundation document that is going to be used to constitute a government. And let me tell you why.
Yes.
John Steenhuisen today even used the word policy lekgotla.
no man.
Yes, John Steenhuisen said there's going to be policy lekgotla where the partners of this GNU are going to meet and draft policies, and then from there obviously agree on who's going to be deployed where and everywhere. But now here's my question. What is the race of unemployment? What is the race of labor in this country? What is the race of the uneducated in this country? What is the race of crime-ridden communities in this country? They're all black. Now, when you look at the issues of education and free education, of which they advocate for, the ANCYL Youth League, which is what the MK Youth League advocates for, the issue of free education is the issue that Helen Zille is against. The issue of grants, it's an issue that Helen Zille is against.
Yeah.
When you all of them, yes. So all these policies that are in place that are there, and all the proposed policies that are in place that are there, which are pro-black, with this policy lekgotla, what is going to happen? We've got an issue where 60% of the labor force is going to be jobless, which is roughly 700,000 government employees which are going to be jobless out of 1.2 million. The DA is at the fourth, and the NC is also, there hasn't been salary increases, and now they are also contemplating on also cutting these jobs because of austerity measures, because of IMF loans, and all of those things that Cyril has been doing. So now, what does the GNU mean to a black man?
And normal layperson.
And normal layman on the street, and normal student who's a TUT who's looking at NSFAS. What does it mean? Because now you are in bed with a DA that does not want free education.
Yeah. Melita?
This document of a GNU, my brother, where I'm sitting, you as politicians, you must remember that you're representing all of us. And so South Africa is going to a new direction now that is brand new. So where I'm sitting, it's something that if you embrace it, all of you, if ever it is says that it is a GNU, a government of national unit, it should talk to such. It should talk to such because right now you are seeing two signatures there. So personally, I feel that if you are part of the GNU and they say it's a GNU, you should appear there. You should file the document. You can't accept the document that you know very well that you don't appear. And then later it's going to bite all of us where you are then going to complain later. In the foundation where they build a structure of GNU, that is where you matter. That is where you matter in policies, in everything, in the coming of that draft. If they are going to review that draft, you should participate in it. You shouldn't allow Helen Zille and Tatum Bwalula only be the ones. Then it doesn't save the purpose of GNU. So what is GNU after all?
All right.
Because that's where we should start and understand what is GNU, which parties were supposed to be formulating that GNU.
Other,
and then how
other parties were kicked out of the GNU. They
why
were
are you
not
allowing
allowed.
it? So, but
by
why are
the
you
DA.
allowing it?
Yeah,
Why are you representing us? You're representing us for us because we are people and we are trusting you. We voted for you. So you shouldn't win at rest. You should attack things. You
All
should
right.
attack things and challenge things.
I'm going to come to that one, why other parties are not in this. Is this a GNU candidate? Let's talk about that. So I'm going to read a comment. Bongani, Go Facebook. GNU is not in favor of the black majority, but a project of capital to cling into state power using politicians who are prepared to sell their souls for material gain. Kubo Msizi, hey, oh. So who's watching? Lemokham Ncho is watching us on Facebook. Alfred Opa, Vosan Makumbane, and Bitoko, my king, my sorry if I can be a pillar. Thank you so much, guys, for taking your time, your data, and keep on sending us those comments. Go Facebook, which is Kgosietsile, and we'll read them as the show progresses. And even WhatsApp, 064-548-7976. If you want to send those comments as well through WhatsApp, voice notes will be very nice. Send them through, and then we can be able to play them out, and then really sorry how were we saying this show today. The show today is talking about the marriage. We called it a GNU, all this whole discussion, guys. But now all of a sudden it's no longer GNU. It's an intent to form a GNU, or coming after government has been
political gymnastics.
It's funny how you are even saying it's a foundation. A foundation is not a house built. Just that, a foundation.
It's a guiding document. Okay.
That's why it's called intent.
The problem with BK,
the
the president of this country who was sworn in today, a few hours ago, was saying to the people, this is the GNU. Zile himself, Arki GNU. Everybody else is saying this is like
GNU.
that. It's like that.
You are the
GNU.
only one.
They are working on it to be a
That's not
properly
what they said.
functional one.
Is it?
Yes,
Because at the
remember,
moment,
you
then why should Zile be be consulted if any other party wants to join the so-called GNU? If this whole thing is not there yet, it's
Why
not
is
even
it a big
structured
matter?
yet.
No, it's
Why then must they be consulted? I'm going to play a clip. Yakazil, I wear the same
but
thing.
you are cutting me off.
I
No,
Okay, fine.
No, play your
Are,
clip. It's
so
fine.
I
I even lost my chain of thought, but my word to you was that
Yes.
when you formulate an intent and you start acting on it, the same way that you'd start acting on a foundation that
Yes.
you built, you want it to become a house. So you can't just say because it's an intent, let's leave it as an intent.
Yes.
So when the president pronounces that this is the government of unity, they are working on it to be physical and to be something that the public can see that it's working.
Okay.
So hence we are saying that we are still watching
Yeah.
as it how it formulates and how
So
it's going
couldn't
to
you have
work.
taken all parties that are in parliament today? All of them. Not some. Start with DA, and then you say others come and join us.
Last when I heard Fikile Mbalula, he was clear. He said that the invitation is still out to all parties that want to participate.
But then Zile, like, you know what Zile said? Let's play what Zile
Please.
said. Yes, ma'am.
I'm quoting the SG of the NC.
I just want to follow up on Utatum Caesar, what he just mentioned. He brought up something very important.
Yes.
He is saying other parties are being excluded, are
Yeah.
being isolated. So where I'm sitting right now, I am worried because if we are saying this is the government of national unity,
Yes.
and then at the same time, our representatives or the people who are leading us in that we are voting for is
Yes.
sitting around this table and saying to me, other parties are being excluded. So why and how do you say this is the government of national unity when
Other
in
parties
my
are
opinion,
excluded?
in my opinion, then you should say that this is a government of division.
Yes.
Because you are dividing. So
Okay.
this is very interesting and it's very important to hear that a person who we voted for, some of us, is actually sitting around the table and saying other parties are being excluded. So if other parties are being excluded based on what?
Yeah,
So
no.
then I have a problem if then the very same people that we voted for,
Yes.
they are unable to challenge that.
To answer,
because
okay.
we as people, we want answers. Yeah. We want to know why. Then they mustn't just say, come to me and say, no, we are being excluded.
Okay.
We nominated you. Then come back to us and tell us,
Why
okay,
are you
we've done this.
excluded?
Help us, join us so that we can address this matter.
Okay.
It's not right that they come and say, no, we are being excluded.
Okay.
Why are you excluded? What have you done about it? Did you come back to us
Yes.
as the people who voted? Because if that's the matter or that's the case, it means some of us, our votes were not taken serious. And voting, it's everybody's interest. That is the only time each and every South African is having an opportunity of having a say in the ruling of South Africa. So if ever then that's the case that other parties are being excluded, to me it says then the other people who have been voted that day, they took their day off or whatever to stand the whole day up until the following morning
don't matter
to vote. They don't matter. It worries, and it's worrying. And the very same constitution of government is actually saying that go vote. It's your right. That is the only time that you can have a voice in South Africa. So how is it that then if it's a government of national unity, other parties are being excluded? Based on what?
Based on
what?
No, it's fine.
Political gymnastics. There's no such.
I think our clip will assist as well.
These so-called pro-black parties, they were approached first. They must not come and lie. No. They were first approached.
Okay, we'll come to that. Let's play the clips.
ZIL doesn't want PA, isn't it? Helen ZIL does not want the Patriotic Alliance, right? Fine. Let's play the clips and then we'll come back and then we'll discuss it. We'll unpack the matter.
Our start way back because it's for me it baffles me. How do I hate you, BK? I don't like you, but I can go to bed with you. You understand? Maybe somebody can be able to answer me that one. I don't like this guy.
Zila only. Are you also playing the?
No, I've got Zila, I've got Mbalula. Yeah, I've got the recent ones. So let me play this one. Let's have a look at this.
Let me make a prediction. Because the ANC doesn't know what it stands for anymore, because it can't revert to principles, because it hasn't got any, believe me, in my lifetime, I will see that party die too.
Yeah, that is Zile.
Yes.
That is the stance of in her lifetime. And this clip is not like 10 years ago. It's just now. She said that. BK, as an ANC, Smuts and as a SACP, how then does the ANC go into bed with such a party?
Let me start here.
Yes.
If you allow.
All right.
Look, the first thing is that the main parties here, they are dealing with a very diverse constituency. Let's take the DA.
Yeah.
DA of late, in terms of their approach to the constituency, they are prioritizing the far right constituency. Okay?
Yeah.
Yet they still want to keep on liberal policies. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, they must shout out there so that the right-wing elements within DA, they feel that they are not selling out to the ANC. Okay? Now, if you read the Africana newspapers, I fortunately read Rapport and Bild. Those are my regular newspapers that I read.
All right.
You get something that talks about, in the same tone that some of the panel members today talk about black, the right-wing elements in Rapport and Bild.
Yes.
They are talking in the same way and saying, you are selling us out to a black terrorist organization.
You mean about now, right?
Yes, now.
Now, like 2024.
Now. That's what they are saying now.
All right.
Yes. Now, here in June, when you read the report, Bild, that's what they are saying.
Yes.
On the other side, you've got an ANC that has a diverse kind of a constituency. Equally, different strains within the ANC have particular views.
Yeah.
And there are those that are being mobilized equally by the media to say, let's prioritize working with what is black.
Okay.
Okay. Now, remember the ANC is not a black organization. It's a non-racial organization.
Yes.
Okay. So in the process of this debate,
it's not what?
Non-racial.
It's not
a black organization.
It's not a black organization.
It's not a black organization. No, the ANC was never created.
I've got a problem with that, General Smuts, and I'll tell you why before Twalapili. ANC was called South African Native Congress, right? South African Native Congress. Who are the natives?
Yeah.
Exactly. But then Maburu are Tonko SSCP. Then they changed from native to be ANC. Yeah. That is my problem right there.
Well, yeah, you see, the problem of not voting in 94 comes back to you.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. Yeah.
I don't want to sound like Dr. Paulo Jordan, but let's make time and look at the ANC properly in terms of its vision.
All right, yes.
What it stands for.
No, we'll do that.
Yeah, I think let's not bring it into this discussion. But the point I'm making here is that on both sides, there are arguments. And the interesting thing is that parties, when they are out there addressing their constituency, when they are out there in the media,
yes,
they shout things that sounds, in the part of the ANC, they must sound revolutionary. On the part of the DA and others, they must sound right-wing enough.
Yes.
But the detail when there are these discussions is totally a different ballgame. Okay?
Okay.
They are then having to deal with their reality. Like now, everybody must put on their think cap.
Yeah.
On how government get constituted.
Okay.
Not all this renting that you find there in the media. For example, who does not know that the ANC regularly convenes its policy conference before its national conference? Who does not know that? I mean, to believe the statement of Zille that they don't have any policy or something that they stand for. So it's just renting out in the media there. So reality is that things are quite different when it comes to the real discussions on taking the country forward.
All right.
And like I'm saying, the matter will not end. I think Melita, Melita made a very important point.
Yes.
To say, we are not interested in your political fights.
Yeah.
We want our country to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good point that she's making there. And that's exactly what is also contained in this intention. That very soon, the country must have a social dialogue.
Okay.
Where we don't only leave our lives to the hands of the politicians, but those that are in the trade union, those that are in the women's structures, those that are in the civic, those that are in the community development must have a way on the direction that we should take. Not the interest of the politicians, but what is in our collective interest. So that social dialogue, I think the president, when he delivers the State of the Nation address now in July, will give more details on the processes towards the social dialogue.
All right. All right.
Of course, you must also remember, it's not Helen that made these alone, that made such things. Floyd did the same.
Floyd did really.
The same thing that until the ANC dies, it must be taken all power. Those video clips are also flying around. It's not.
Oh yeah, no, I know. No, Monaribuaka are the ones who are in bed with the ANC.
So we are saying to you that because we must remember that we are in a democratic state.
Yes.
Even in the NDR, the hurdle that we are currently facing now to balance the democracy with the revolution that we are in. And democracy has taken its stance. The people have made a voice, voiced their concerns out to say that we don't believe in one party to lead South Africa.
All right.
And we must be very honest about that.
Yeah.
That we're at the crossroads now.
Yeah.
We must accept currently now what the public has said to us as the ANC and take it very seriously.
All right.
Or we can also get into this grand arena where we're also going to shout out. But what we must necessarily do currently going forward is to go back to communities.
Yeah.
And and it's important that the youth league takes its rightful place in the community because it's the first arm that has to mobilize young people to the ANC.
Okay.
We are seeing this degenerating votes of the ANC because for far too long we've kept generations of a progressive youth league. And that is the truth.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to read some other comments. Yes, ma'am.
I'm begging you not to actually move on without having the answer that, because you came up with a very important question. So I think these are my leaders. So do not ignore questions. That question was very important, and that question will lead you to something, and you'll be able to resolve your problems.
All right.
Your question is leading them into something that might help them to resolve the issues that they are dealing with.
Yes.
You asked, why is it now that ANC is now working with DA after what Helen Sile said? You can't just ignore that question. It's an important question that he asks, and somebody must answer it. As a public person then of South Africa, I'm very interested to know what is your answer on that, because you asked that question.
Yeah.
And maybe say who was talking now,
Smuts, yes.
can just go straight to the point without other referencing other things.
Yes.
I need an answer on that one because I'm here now. You've asked a very important question.
All right.
Why is it that ANC is working with the very same
Barbaric, yes. Guys,
Marx
here's the
answered
question.
it very well. He said very well. He said that behind closed doors they utter different things. On the pedestal, it's very much fashionable for someone to stand and speak against the ANC. That's what gets a play.
Then how do we trust you?
Exactly my point.
Then how do we trust
And
you?
It's not an answer.
let me finish
Okay.
before you cut me out. Don't cut me out. You must protect me first. You know you are invested, but protect me.
Ooh, what
So I'm saying that he said very well that the DA is pro-right.
Yes.
And then you have the EFF and the MK, which claim they are pro-left.
Yes.
So all
The
these
MK
parties
claims it's
together,
pro-left.
yes, which all these parties have come out and did what Helen Zinn has done. And rightfully so, when they did what Helen Zinn has done, after even this thing, they said that why did you not come to pro-black parties?
Can I follow
Which
up?
the same pro-black parties did what Helen Zinn does. So in the sake of honoring the electorate on their votes, we can't play shenanigans of us also coming out and speaking out and doing that. We must form a government that people say that they want is going to deliver services.
But
to
did
them.
people say
So
going back to
when
DA?
people have
What
voted-
is
when people
your-
voted,
Did people say going back to
no,
the DA?
no. People said that they want a collective government of a government of national
And could you
unity.
not have
And
done that with
remember, we went
MK
to
and
you guys.
EFF
We
and
went to
all the
MK.
other black
We went
parties?
to
No,
MK. No,
yes,
but let me quote. You guys are asking questions. When I answer, you're disturbing me.
Okay.
So basically, I'm
Mofet answers
speak.
Melita Mmela, yes.
So you must give me a chance to speak.
All right.
So I'm saying that the SG said it very clearly that the first parties that they went to is
Yes.
these ones that you're saying are pro-black.
Yeah.
Your EFF, your
Yeah,
MK.
MK.
The demands was of the ANC's organizational outlook. How do you come to a part when we are negotiating and you tell us that no, we can give whatever you want, but remove your president? Where do we enter? Because we don't enter into who is the president of EFF.
Okay. So can
Let
I
me
come
finish.
in? Can I come?
Let
No,
me
no, no.
finish. But you're disturbing me. I must finish.
Okay, finish.
So I'm saying, I'm saying that when you see, even disturbing my chain of thought, it does not work like this. When someone speaks, you allow them to finish. So I'm saying that when specifically said it very well that we never entered the policy and said no, remove Malema,
Yes.
remove Zuma.
Yes.
We never discussed that. We discussed the function, how to make the government function for the people that voted.
Okay.
So when you're gonna start now going into duties, who's your president, who's what, you are living where the people have said. People have said it very clearly. We don't want one party to rule. We
Okay.
want all the parties to come together and form a
Alright.
government that's gonna work for all of our interests.
Yeah.
Minority, majority, all
Yes.
our interests must be met.
Okay.
And lastly, in his last interview that he said, Fikile Mbalula was very
Fikile.
clear. Yes, Fikile Mbalula was very clear. He said that we're still open to any party that wants to join the government of unity. That was what he said.
Okay, but then what was the offer?
No, but may I answer the...
Fabulous Melita Mmela.
I just wanted to know, say, what is your take with that statement, Utatu John, where he actually, because I think I was listening, where he preferred, he will only work with ANC if he's in Tate Ramaphosa, but at the same time, he didn't want to see himself or DA working with MK. As African National Congress, what do you see there? What do you think about that? How do you see it? He prefers to work with ANC, but he wouldn't work with
Only
ANC.
if Ramaphosa is the
Only if
president,
Ramaphosa is
yes.
there. What does that tell you as our brother?
The SG was very clear. We went into negotiation and we centered the negotiations around people's deliver. We never listened to who wants president, who wants this of the ANC. The ANC itself has decided that at the national conference. So you cannot come as an outside party and dictate to the ANC who must lead it.
But
the
the question,
ANC is an organization.
BK.
Let me finish.
The question
has its own process.
No, you don't answer me.
Why
sir.
was John
You don't answer
Steenhuisen
me.
No, I can't answer on the
putting
DA.
it clearly
I can only
that I
answer
can
on
only
the
work
ANC.
with the ANC
So,
if Ramaphosa
But
is
I'm
the
answering you.
president?
The problem is that you don't want to hear my answer. You want
Okay.
me to answer.
No, we're not
John
work
Wesley.
at parties who said they don't want the
When the SG
ANC.
spoke,
Yes.
he was very clear that we went there to discuss service delivery as a front, that people get service delivery, as this government is not there's no parties as a majority. So when that happens, the rightful thing that he did, they put that at the center, not who is going to lead the ANC. What the DA is saying is the same thing what the other parties were saying. So at the other party was saying leave Ramaphosa. This one saying keep Ramaphosa.
Yeah.
We went there with our Ramaphosa.
Yes.
And we debated, we spoke in terms of the agreement of delivering service to the people of South Africa.
Okay, but
and
that-
never engaged about, it's like expecting us to say that no, but as the DA, we're only going to work with you if there's a Helen Zille. We're not going to do that.
But then
we are
ultimately-
going to center the democracy on the people's vote.
Okay, but ultimately, who did you go in bed with?
We went into bed with all the parties that want to be in the GNU.
Who are those parties?
Who are those parties? Can you just maybe name just few?
What, you want me to say DA?
Yes, please. No, just
DA
name
is
few.
there.
Yeah.
IFP is there.
Uh-huh.
Good Party is there. PA is there.
Okay.
Then they also called, I think there's one last one that I'm missing, but if I will correct me, PAC
Okay.
as well. Then let me finish my last. Then the SG of the ANC said, any party that wants to join,
Yeah.
you are welcome. That was the words
Only
of the
if
SG.
DA
Okay.
allows that.
No, but
Let's listen to this. Isn't it that?
But Putina, this, can you answer me the second thing, Putina? When then John said that you didn't work with MK
EFF
and
and
EFF,
MK, yes.
And PA.
what was your take? What was your take as an
And PA as well.
Yes.
My
Can I
personal
come in
take,
there?
are you asking the take of the youth?
wants to come
of
in.
the
Okay.
youth league?
My
Okay, let him come.
General. Yes, General.
Yeah, maybe let's. I think this the political developments have a way of repeating themselves.
Okay.
When we went into negotiations within the ANC, there were those people who said, "I can't sit on the same table with Pegwater, who killed our people in Maseru, in Botswana. I can't be in the same table with Mahmas Malan,
Yeah.
Louis Legrange." They said, "We can't sit with those people. If the clerk wants to negotiate, he must not bring." Equally, on the other side, there were people who were saying, "We can't sit with communists. Krizani must not come to the table." Okay?
Okay.
So, for those of us who were there before when these discussions of government of national unity for the 94 period were being initiated, these were just public statements that were being made.
Yeah.
But finally, the same people that they did not want, they were there with them in the negotiations. Equally now, you have similar statements. Others say, "We will not sit on the table for as long as MK is there or EFF is there." There are others who will say, "For as long as Zille is on the table, I will not come." So with time, these things, they've got a way of resolving themselves. Okay? So I'm quite confident that once the nuts and bolts of constituting government are set in motion, the picture will be quite different.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
The picture will be quite different. So now I'm not worried about the statements that different parties make out there in public. I'm more worried about what is the work that is being done to bring everybody into this government of national unity.
All right. I think maybe the problem, it looks like BK and all of you guys. It looks like one party that one party's demand to adhere to. That is my take.
How does it be?
And I'll tell you why. And if I'm wrong, let me know that I'm wrong and don't put any factor why. Because Malula said they went and consulted other pro-black parties, correct? And they said they want Ramaphosa out and they put them aside. They went to DA. DA said we don't want EFF and MK. But then they have signed. I mean, even Zille was boasting over the weekend was that there's another video of her, Floyd Shibambo saved the day. the day of the inaugurations
Yes.
of the parliamentarians, because they have not signed the deal yet with the ANC. Do you understand what I'm saying? She said it publicly. Or at least Floyd, thank God to Floyd, he saved the day. Because if only they have not given a break at 30 minutes like Zondo, they were not going to vote Kgosi in as speaker. What does that tell you, BK? I get Moribuaka,
but
everybody else is supposed to be.
But remember, I'm surprised that when Fegile says to people that we started with the pro-black parties, it's as if you guys left it out. But the time that he went to negotiate with was after these so-called pro-black parties, to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
So what was he supposed to say? Because maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe but hold on. Maybe because the way that we are answering you,
yes,
it does not satisfy you.
It's not about that. So maybe
what was your satisfying?
Okay, let me tell you this first again. Msizi comes. Msizi, right? Msizi comes to me. Because if I want to join this studio of yours, you need to chase this girl out. Right? Then I put Msizi aside. Then you come when. But if you want me to join this studio, you need to change this table. You understand what I'm saying? You need to change this table. And then I go with you instead of him.
What does that say? Because it
what
says you adhere to certain
you see,
demands.
The demand of the DA was not taken.
Your example is totally wrong.
How?
And I'll explain to you. When you say Helen Zille, or was it Helen Zille or Jen Stazen pronounced that they're only going to work with the ANC unless they keep Cyril?
Yes.
Who says that when they went to debate, when they went to the negotiation tables, what they came with?
That's what they said, isn't it?
No. I'm saying when they went to the negotiating tables.
Yes.
Who says that that's what they said? Because Mark said something very important. He says that the pronouncements that party leaders usually go with, and even quoted that before 94 there was pronouncements like this before, that I will not sit with this, we will not do this with. But when the time came to sit down, there was no pronouncements. The engagement was about how do we deliver a post 94 South Africa.
Yes.
So I'm asking you, I'm saying to you that you guys are asking me what someone pronounced, which I cannot speak on. But the SG of the ANC said it very well. He said, when we got to the table with DA, we spoke about service delivery and how we can make sure that the people's interests are safeguarded.
Okay.
So I can only say on what the SG said.
Okay.
Can I add?
Yeah.
Let me assist him. The reason why the DA seems to have adhered to the demands of the DA and pretended to be in talks with all the other political parties because of the following. Helen Zille herself, 2021 or 2022, said it would be good if the ANC received 40% and the DA got 20%. This is 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
Okay.
What happened?
They get exactly that.
Exactly that. And then they said they are going to work with the ANC of Ramaphosa. This is prior to the 2022 conference in December, Nasrec 2. Yeah. Because one was in 2017. So she said the 40-20 thing, it has happened. And she said it prior 2022 December conference. Yes. Then she said prior to the same conference, she said that she would only work with the ANC of Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa won. And then now we're sitting at a point where they are saying that they will only work with the ANC. And they will not work with the EFF or MK or the Patriotic Alliance, right?
But the Patriotic Alliance is there.
No, they're not there.
But that's what he said.
No. Wait, I need to finish this point.
And I'm going to play a clip.
Herself said that they were not consulted on the issue of Patriotic Alliance, and then said that Mbalula needs to remember that they're not a majority anymore.
They can't
don't take decisions alone. And then she said, go and read the agreement. Yeah. So right now, as things stand, it's three founding members, which is IFP, DA, and the ANC. PA and all these other ones first have to go through this bridge, which is called Helen Zille. So it means all these things from 2022 were all in the pipeline, and they have happened exactly like she had said they're going to happen, like she's a prophet. Yeah. Now you tell me if the political arena was already set in motion way before, or this was all just an act.
Okay, let's hear from her.
Zuma participated as well.
Let's hear from her. We'll come to that.
I'm speaking on the issues of what happened in 2022 to now.
Let's hear what she said.
He then brings in parties like the IFP and the Good Party and the PA and the PAC who have now signed this document as well, do they reach that 60%?
No, let me say this, that the ANC can't bring people in that they feel like bringing in. This is another thing that Fikile doesn't seem to understand, because it says that in keeping with the spirit of an inclusive GNU, it is agreed that the composition shall be discussed and agreed amongst the existing parties whenever new parties decide to be part of the GNU. Now, agreed means by sufficient consensus. So it's not the ANC that gets to invite everybody, as Fikile seems to think. He keeps on actually making public statements about this one's joined and that one's joined, but he must read clause 24 of the document that he signed.
Hold on. So are you saying to me that even when the PA decides to join, the ANC has had to consult you and the other parties in the Government of National Unity before accepting any other party to come and join and sign that document?
Absolutely. There are three founding members of this. It is ourselves, it is the ANC, and it is the IFP. And clause 24 says, in keeping with the spirit of an inclusive GNU, it is agreed that the composition shall be discussed and agreed amongst the existing parties whenever new parties desire to be part of the Government of National Unity. That's what it says in clause 24.
So were you consulted about the PA or the PAC?
We were consulted about the PAC, but not the PA. The PAC was raised in the negotiations. The PAC, Good, and the UDM were raised during the negotiations, but definitely not the PA. But, it's not about the PA per se, it's about the principle of this issue. They haven't consulted us, and the ANC must realize that they don't take all the decisions anymore. They didn't win the election.
So what does that mean now? Will you be taking it up with the African National Congress?
I have. I've written to Fikile Mbalula. I wish we'd been on together. I would have had a little bit of a debate with him. But I wrote him a letter yesterday. I got an acknowledgement of...
General,
well, let's clarify things.
Yeah.
The idea or suggestion of a government of national unity did not fall from the sky.
It was founded by three parties, General. She made it clear.
No. Where did it start? It started with a discussion in the ANC.
With DA and IFP.
No.
That's what she said.
You can't have a discussion starting with three parties. It's not possible.
That's what she said. I mean, unless she's lying to us.
And it's not telling the truth.
Okay.
Kgosi, remember, after the elections, the ANC on its own met and had a discussion.
Okay.
And it's in that NEC, special NEC meeting where they said, we have agreed to opt for a government of national unity. Remember that address by the president.
Yes.
And secondly said, we have constituted a team to engage all parties.
So is Zile lying when she said the founding members of this thing is us?
No.
ANC,
it's not true that.
And the IFP.
How can you find a GNU when you are just three? They responded to an ANC invitation.
Yeah, maybe it's because this is not a GNU, General. It's just a coalition between three parties. Maybe we should just admit.
Let me finish my point.
Yes.
Can I finish my point?
Yes, it's fine.
The first thing that I want to emphasize is that you did not have the parties at any stage before the elections sitting and saying we are going to form a GNU. There's nothing like that.
Well,
okay?
Yeah, okay. So then Zile is
only
lying.
After the elections.
Yeah.
Only after the elections, the ANC National Executive Committee convened, agreed that this is the route that we will take.
Okay.
And the first step then was to invite all parties.
DA and NIFP. Let's be clear.
No.
Let's not
No,
mislead the
it's
masses.
not accurate. What you want to push a narrative that is out there. That from the beginning.
General, let's be fair.
No.
We just heard the lady herself.
No.
It's a series
and
of events that took place.
She's the chairperson. Ke level la gagwe le Mbalula is the same. She's the chairperson of the federal chairperson of DA, and then on that document is her signature, the stamp of her rank, le Mbalula Rabedi. No other party has signed that thing, and she has made it clear at the moment.
Yeah, but you're missing the point I'm making.
One other point you said ANC goes and spoke to all parties, which is not true. Because Zile herself has just put it out there.
It's true.
This is it. This is how it is.
It's
the founding
true,
members
Kgosi.
of this thing.
You can't deny the fact that the ANC made a decision to invite all parties to a discussion.
But then end up with 3. Hey, Arabel, let's let's say they did invite all the parties to this discussion, right, guys? But then, where did Zile get this one? They're the 3 founding members. Where did Zile get this one then? Why can she say so confidently, publicly, where she is?
Yeah, but
DA.
But remember, Kgosi, in this GNU, there are like the example I made of pre-94. There are parties whose position is that if this one is not in, if this one is in, I'm withdrawing. So that contest will continue up until we put up the GNU. Only at that point will you tell us that these are the final parties that are now constituting the government of national unity.
The agreement's already in place, though. Okay. The agreement is there with the signatures. So legally, that is already signed, unless I don't understand contract law, maybe. But the agreement is already in place.
And let's go back, General, before Tolapele, to what Zile said. She said, if only they were not given a break. She said it publicly. Thank God to Figinamba. It's on X everywhere. Thank God to Floyd Shivambo for disturbing the negotiation of people there. If only they were not given that moment, they wouldn't have signed this agreement, this one, the intent. That means the ANC was not going to get Togodidisa as their speaker.
Yes.
What does that mean for you, sir?
Kgosi, the point I've been making from the beginning, one is that when you form a GNU, you're inviting everybody.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Secondly, parties to this discussion, all the time, they will want to satisfy a particular problematic part of their constituency.
Yeah.
The second thing linked to that is that parties themselves, they want to appear as being very heroic out there to their members. You've got the EFF, maybe to some extent MK, who will want to show that they do not work with the white parties. Equally, DA's right-wing elements, they try to satisfy them that these people that are too far to the left, we're not working with them.
Okay.
So it's a political game that these parties are playing. So each one of them wants a set up
with people's lives.
Each party wants to hold the ANC to themselves. Okay, MKEFF. They want the ANC, but as long as it's not with the DA.
That's not
equally
true.
DA.
Very true.
Equally DA wants the ANC to the exclusion of MK and EFF. Okay, that's what they are trying. That's the game they are trying to play.
But it seems
and for us, what the critical thing now
is
to ensure that this political game comes to an end. That's why the matter of a social dialogue should kick in as quickly as government is constituted.
All right. Before Tolapil, I need to read some few comments. Bongani comrade Nkatlista. right? ANC has a struggle against reading. ANC has a struggle against reading, just like Beki Cele when he was dismissed as Commissioner. Mbalula also fumbled by not reading, right? The other commentary, the cadre from the Communist Party, talking to you, General Smuts, as speaking like an analyst to oppose as opposed to a member of the SSCP. They've always maintained to leave the alliance if the ANC doesn't listen. Now they are working directly with an ideological opponent and they are silent. Why? The last one, I'm going to ask you to answer that one, General Nehar Fetsamo. General must not lecture us on political science. The GNU SPTA is a living document and it's binding. You can't tell us a rerun is not feasible because of resources. IEC has been and running elections since 94 and general elections times 7. As a maturing democracy, you can't tell us that they can't make provisions. How come they are able to print all political parties on the ballots and fail to rerun? That's disingenuous. Stop playing devil's advocate and debate the document. Your answer to that, in short, General, before because you have a lot of things to cover and Nagoya Beta Kilo one. Yeah.
Okay, quickly. I've said I'm not speaking on behalf of the Communist Party.
Okay.
I made it clear from the beginning.
Yes.
I'm the chairperson of the Communist Party, and I said the Politburo has pronounced itself. The document is out there on what the Politburo is saying.
Okay.
The weekend of the 28th to the 30th, the Central Committee will meet and pronounce itself on the GNU.
All right.
Okay?
Oh, so this
So
is
up
still
until
coming.
that time.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Up until that time, we will not be able to pronounce official position of the Communist Party.
Oh, so
Secondly,
yeah.
I'm not apologetic that I went to school to study political science.
All right.
I can't apologize.
Yeah.
So what I've learned in school, I can't apologize that I'm sharing what I know
Yeah.
and helping us to debate in a manner that helps us to pick where there are gaps
Yes.
in terms of this GNU.
Okay.
Okay? So I can't come here and argue for or against the GNU. I must be able to help this debate unfold in a manner that is informed.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah. BK. Okay.
In terms of...
Oh, what? Let's play the last clip and then we're going to come to you.
No, you said in terms of, but I want to enter currently right now. On the issue of, this issue of small parties and the IEC is very funny and it's very unfortunate because the IEC has got 3 months to prepare for a rerun. So it's not like it will happen over a month. But equally in Brazil, when Lula da Silva came into power, there were, I think, 2 or 3 rounds of elections that took place. Precisely because of this issue that we are faced with, where they needed an outright winner, whereby eventually they filter out all these other smaller parties and are left with their main opponents.
Yes.
There is nothing wrong with that. That's actually something that should be encouraged because there's a lot of money that goes into all these parties. There's a lot of ideological issues that are there when you've got so many different parties, and yet we talk about social ills, and yet we talk about black people that are suffering from being uneducated, the racialized economy, and all of these social ills that are there. So maybe it is better that we have less parties or get to a round of elections whereby you are dealing with just 5 or just 4.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? And if they're going to talk about a maturing democracy, then also that approach would be a maturing democracy as well. Let's not support one thing because we fear we might lose and then dismiss the other part.
Yeah.
I think then we should go for a rerun and actually cut out all these other small parties and deal with the top 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
BK.
He then brings in parties like the IFP and the Good Party and the PA and the PAC who have now signed this document as well. Do they reach that 60%?
No, let me say this, that the ANC can't bring people in that they feel like bringing in. This is...
Yeah. Talk to me.
No, about...
The ANC cannot just bring people
yes,
like
but
they want
at
to.
the beginning of the discussion, I told you very well that no one is a majority. Even the DA itself cannot just bring. Hence, even the Freedom Front Plus has applied to join in.
Okay.
After speaking to the DA. So there's no party that can just bring in. It's very clear. There's no outright majority
Consensus.
party.
Yeah.
Consensus.
There is no-
Is the one that
consensus.
Yes,
That
there's
guides
consensus.
that.
So
What
there's
does it
no
say?
yes.
Okay.
So but
Can you-
there's, so let me finish. So
Okay.
there's no outright majority party that's going to dictate how things happen. We've said that in the beginning of the discussion.
Yes.
That no one won 50 plus 1.
Okay. Are Tomemo. So. Who came the GNU?
But
No,
who's
according
this?
to
He's
him. Tell
answered
me.
you.
Tell
No,
me.
I
why.
agree with him that it began with the ANC discussing
Okay.
it.
So the ANC was saying people must come and work with it.
Then it then discussed with various parties.
Right?
Yes.
They must come
Which
and work
MK
with them.
said no, which EFF said no. The ones that were open to the discussion was DA and IFP.
So long as they will say no to other things as well, which the ANC admitted and accepted it,
Which
it's fine.
They never said to individuals. It
No,
was
no. They
based
said
always
we
on-
don't want to work with MK. Obviously, they might take it down to Zuma himself. They don't want to work with the MK. They want to work
But
with
why
Malema.
do you guys don't want to quote the SG when he was very clear? He said that we never came to the MK and said we will work with you without Zuma. They came to us and said we'll work with you without SRM.
But then
That was what the SG said. I can't answer for the SG, but that was his statement.
What's the problem making BK? Problem mo ke gore, we are trying to rebona a mole and we are trying to heal,
It's their politics.
this. Wa bona ho ntse yang?
I feel like
And Miss-
Nkosi, you want to direct me to what you want me to say.
No, I'm directing to what the madam himself
But
have
I'm
said.
not from the DA. Maybe you should have had someone from the,
The
DA
problem
to
with the
answer
D-
on the
the
matter.
problem with the very
thing that
DA.
the person that I speak on, or that I listen to and I speak on.
When the
is
president of this
person
country,
that
who's an
is the
AC
SG
president
of the NC.
Fine. When he came out, president of the country, Yaka, he said we are working with all parties equally. I would assume, right?
The SG also said that
Yeah.
all parties must come to the party.
Exactly. But then your main, which now has Kitlos Mangwana
19.3
19.3, airing 60% seats.
seats,
Who could be?
not composition. seats.
Exactly. Parties to the GNU representation, 60% of seats in the National Assembly agree.
Yes.
When
Meaning,
there's-
and who are those parties? Agifete Mfanak. ANC, the DA. When they're meeting, they're giving 60%. So if the DA agrees to anything that this thing will come in, what is that?
So if the ANC disagrees with what the DA wants, so right now I'm telling you that also the Freedom Front Plus wants to come to the party. So if the ANC says no, it won't happen. So there's no outright majority. It's what we've been saying from the beginning of the discussion, that no party has won 50 plus
Let
1.
me tell you the mathematics.
We are all minority. We are all parties.
The
we might have
mathematics.
got the biggest.
That's
charge.
accurate. That's accurate.
But
That's accurate.
it's fair to say that
We can
the
see-
first and the second party
Yeah.
from the elections with the majority of the vote
Yes.
are they can't dictate.
So
Even
can-
DA can't dictate to the NC.
But
can't
they
dictate
have
to- What
already.
are they dictating?
Everything.
No,
Everything.
there's no such.
Everything that they cannot
It's
do
because-
anything.
it's
Ukule
because-
Sil,
it's
did- like,
because- but
did
that's
you
a
hear?
fact that we
Did
don't
you
have a
hear the
majority.
last? Did you hear the last statement, Sazila?
But Kgosi, why do you want to argue facts? We don't have an outright majority. DA does not have an
You are
outright
supposed to
majority.
be in a
So
GNU.
we are in a GNU.
GNU, key Government of National Unity, where everybody is equal. No one is dictating terms. I get number one. Number two, coalition, like General Smuts said in the beginning of this whole show. Where all of us working together equally, correct? Without anyone demanding anything. The second one here, coalition, when people now come with their own demands and say, I will help you only if you do this. Now, Zila is telling ANC, you can't just do anything. You can't just
Exactly.
bring anybody.
Which is- that's why
You
there's
have to come and talk to
consensus.
us first.
That's why there's
and-
consensus.
And
That's why
we
there's a
should
clause.
and we should have number 19.3 airing.
What is with
60%
let me-
Yarena,
maybe,
we should
maybe
agree.
I'm not hearing you right.
Yeah.
You are crying that the NC is not leading this thing.
No, I'm
Then
not
what
crying
is
about.
the issue?
I'm
Or
crying
is you
about it.
crying that the DA also has an equal voice
I'm going
as
back
the
to
ANC?
Miss Melita. People will say Melita Siboleti. Why the others who came and demanded, right? Demanded to ANC, listen, we can give you our 18%, whatever, into MK, only if this one goes. They didn't consider that. They didn't even entertain it. The DA comes and said, listen, we'll give you our 20%, provided MK is not part of this, PA is not part of this, and if it's not part of this. And ANC is being seen to be walking the same direction as DA. Why not say, okay, fine, DA, leave it, it's fine, we'll do minority
But,
government.
but the EFF and the MK are not our parties. They are not.
And
we
is
went
yours?
to them first. We
Is
went to
DA
the, wait,
your
let me-
party?
No, don't try to mislead me.
It's a question.
No,
You
but
said the
listen to me.
MK is
But
not your
allow me
party.
to finish. Why do you disturb me? It's like you're pushing a narrative, horse.
Tsolapele.
Let me finish.
Fine.
I'm saying to that the first people that they went to discuss with
Uh-huh.
was these so-called black.
And
That you
what-
are wait.
and what
let
do
me
they
finish,
say?
Hosi.
And what do they
Let
say?
me finish, Hosi. You must stop this thing.
Okay.
You are pushing a narrative now.
I'm not.
Because you're intervening. How can you intervene when I'm speaking?
Tsolapele,
You
it's
must
fine.
host the show. Don't speak on my behalf. I'm saying to that the SG said it very clear that we went first to these two parties. They are the things that they put on the table is that we leave a Ramaphosa. That is what the SG said.
Okay.
When you went to these ones, how can you leave a president that you voted for in a conference? You can't intervene with the ANC's processes within. The DA found us with the Ramaphosa as president of
And
the
said
ANC.
what?
She was already there. They never
said what?
discussed anything. They discussed what was
What conditions
what
did- like
brought.
it- like
Wait,
it-
let me finish.
they
Let me
give you?
finish. Let me finish.
Uh-huh.
They discussed what was brought in front. That how do we form a government of unity? The same as
Without
the
who?
IFP. Why is it that the IFP is left out? You're making it seem as if the IFP also had their own demands, but it never said remove this.
Okay, sharp.
It's like us approaching
add-
you and saying that we don't want to be on this show until you are because you are a host.
Okay, sharp.
It does
I
not
need
work
to
like
speak on
that.
the issue of the
Yeah.
mathematics here.
Can
Which
I
is,
talk for 2 minutes? For 2 minutes, Alfred. Let's talk about this one. The two parties came, but for demands they said no. Right?
But you
ANC
must
said
pose
no.
that one to the SG. I'm quoting
You
what he
are
said.
defending it
No,
now.
but I'm
so I'm going to
quoting
put
what
it to
he
you.
said. How is
It's
me
fine.
defending when I'm
I
quoting what the
get
SG said?
You are saying to us, sorry, the MK and EFF came.
So I'm not supposed to quote the SG.
The SG went.
I'm surprised by
Fine.
Khosi's
Let's
question.
quote the SG here. The SG went and spoken to these two black parties. I'll say Mr. Melita EFF and then MK, right? And then these two said, no, we don't want your president anymore. Go. They're like, no, whatever. The DA came. They gave you almost similar demands as well.
But
then you succumb to that. Why?
I'm asking you, Khosor, were you in the negotiating table now?
woman, now.
Because because we
BK,
said in the beginning of the
come on.
conversation.
This is clear.
No, but I'm answering
It's
you. You are
clear.
interrupting me.
I'm not
again.
interrupting you.
I'm saying
It's
to you,
clear.
in the beginning of the conversation,
Yes.
I said to you that
Uh-huh.
in the beginning of the conversation, we said
Yes.
to you that when parties make pronouncements and when they come to the table, it's
Yeah.
two different things.
Okay.
So we're saying to you now, I'm saying to you now that I'm quoting what the SG was saying. Person that was in the mix of these things.
Yeah.
I was not.
Okay.
The SG said very clear that we approached the so-called black parties
Yes.
that you guys are saying are for the interest of black people.
Uh-huh.
They came with demands about our party and how it
Yes.
should be structured within, instead of focusing on delivering services to the people that voted.
Yes.
So if anyone has a problem with that, it cannot filter that. No, it's the
Okay.
NC. We never got involved about Zuma being president of the
It's
MK.
fine.
We
It's
never
fine.
got involved about
It's fine.
the Julius being the president of EFF. It's like now you want us.
It's fine. But then the DA, after talking to MKYL EFF, they went to the DA, right? DA said, fine, when I work at service delivery, blah, 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 blah. All that one Bola said, those two didn't speak about. Mara will only give out 20% if EFF and MK are not
PA.
part, and PA are not part of this thing. Why then didn't the ANC said to them, the same as they did to this other person, said, no, we can't do that because we are forming a GNU.
Exactly.
We're not forming a coalition that has to be a demand from one party that says they want this and that because of they're going to help us. We are forming a GNU. Rather, if this doesn't work, let's rather be minority government, it's fine. Or rerun.
I'll answer you on 2 points. And I think it's the last time I'm answering because I see you want to steer me in a direction. First of all,
Yeah.
the Secretary General said that we approached these two parties.
Yes.
And they gave us their conditions and we went
Yes.
to these ones.
Yes.
And the last statement, the second point is that the last statement that the SG said is that any party that wants to apply,
Yeah.
we are welcome
Yeah.
to apply. That was what the SG said. Those are the two things that I can answer you on, that I know very well that they stand on.
Okay. Give me a second.
Point out the clause on the cabinet. It says, that's clause 17. Whilst recognizing the president's prerogative to appoint members of the executive, such appointments should be done in consultation with the leaders of the respective parties of the members considered for appointment. So he can't just let anybody come in. He's got to consult with us. and then he makes the appointments in consultation with the leaders of the parties who have been accepted for admission into the Government of National Unity.
How extensive do you expect those consultations to be? Should he come to the DA and say, I've got 3 ministerial positions for you, this, and then consult you? Or do you expect him to say, okay, how do I constitute this government, and you as the DA give your own thoughts on which ministry you think should go to which individual or which political party?
Well, first of all, he can't come along to say we're going to give you 3 ministries, because he has to look at clause 16. Now, clause 16 says that it's a bit of a word salad, clause 16, because it was changed so often backwards and forwards, but it currently says the Government of National Unity shall be constituted in a manner that reflects genuine inclusiveness of political parties that are party to the statement of intent and are represented in the National Assembly, broadly taking into account the number of seats parties have in the National Assembly and the need to advance the national interest. The President shall, in consulting the Executive, take into account the electoral outcomes. Now, if he takes into account the electoral outcomes of the parties that have already been admitted into the Government of National Unity by the processes that we've spoken about here, that means whatever the size of the cabinet, we're entitled to 30% of the seats, and the ANC is entitled to 60% of the seats.
Okay.
So you can't say here, well, I'm giving you 3. It doesn't work that doesn't work that way.
All right, so it has to constitute about 30%, which is what you are holding in the Government of National Unity. In numbers, just help our viewers understand, just to be practical in numbers, how many ministries are we talking here, based on how cabinet, how the executive is constituted at the moment?
We don't know how big the cabinet is going to be. We want to reduce the size of the cabinet. So, of course, when you talk about how many seats we're going to get in the cabinet, it depends on how...
All right. Don't you come in?
No, I need to come in.
No, what's
No, he's going to talk and then he's going to go with that side. We need to come back here.
Yeah.
First of all, this seems like a Cordesa situation where the ANC was dribbled.
Yes.
Because, you see, Helen Zille is very structured.
Yes.
She will tell you about this clause.
Yeah.
And then we'll tell you, no. Oh, for that question, go to that clause. And then the same way I started off my argument, taking you to clause 28,
yes,
which goes back to clause 24, and then goes back to... So she's very structured. But this is where the ANC was dribbled. The PA has got 2.06%. VF Plus has got 1.3%.
Yeah.
What's this other one? PAC has got 0.2%. Good Party, which is also part of this thing, has got 0.18%.
Yes.
Now, the DA is going to sit and say, no, this one can enter, this one can enter, this one can enter. But when you check the composition and the number, the percentage that they represent in Parliament, it can never reach the threshold of the 60%. And the DA knows that. So the DA is the only partner that can actually take the whole entire arrangement above 60%, which means whatever that the DA wants, that's why they say the DA has got a vetoing power.
Yeah.
Now, it can be a minority shareholder in this whole entire arrangement, but it has a veto power. That's what they refuse to acknowledge. But when you look at the broader politics and you look at arrangements and agreements, if there's a guy that stands by the door and he can block it off, then it means that person is in charge. Because now, even if the ANC wants to bring in the MK, which has got a 15%, the DA can decide, no, we are in this arrangement and we are saying no, because now they're looking at the composition and the seats and they're saying, no, this is not going to work for us. So they've been dribbled the same way they were dribbled during Cordesa. They're being dribbled again. 1994, 2024, same arrangement that is taking place, and it's over for them, and they don't see it. The DA holds the power because they can allow whoever to come in and they can block whoever to come in, because the 60% the 60% threshold lies with them and only them.
Yeah, unless they get the MK,
and the EFF. Yes, then it will change the whole agreement.
Okay, General, your take. General, your take on that one. Oh, General Salwa. Hello.
Hey, but I'm back.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I call you back or sharp? What's about right?
Sharp.
Okay. Yes. the tail is wagging the dog, my brother. The tail is wagging the dog. Am I right in that submission? General Smart. I'm good.
Hello?
Hey, one good.
Yeah,
Yeah, the tail is wagging the dog. Am I right in that submission?
Not really.
Yeah.
Look, you have a situation wherein I don't take the statements of Zile serious.
Why not, if I may
to
ask?
start with, Zile will not be in cabinet as a start.
How sure are you?
As a person.
Or you have any inside information?
He is not on the party list.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
And you can only appoint from the members of the National Assembly.
No, you can you can appoint a BT.
Except, can I finish?
Yeah.
Except the limited number that the president can appoint from outside, which in the current discussions, it's about the capacity that the ANC will want to bring into cabinet.
Okay.
Right? Now, you will have to learn, if you want a successful GNU, to learn to proceed with the project despite the noise that might come along the way. Okay? For an example, she's starting on a clause that becomes the last resort, okay, in a situation wherein a government has to make a decision, right? For example, the starting point is to ensure that you consult each other and reach agreement on the way forward. Linked to that, when you are in that arrangement, it does not mean you abandon your own policy. You bargain on the base of your policies. Okay, so what parties produced as their policy commitments in the form of the manifesto, that's what comes to the table.
Yeah.
And things are taken from there. Okay?
Okay.
And where issues are being discussed, the point that I was making earlier on, that you also need to be guided by what the people want out there. Okay? Now, the same document talks about the existing protocols in government, especially in the executive. Okay? Which gives a president certain powers to lead the executive. Now, some of these things that Zile is saying, they are out of question. For example, you had MKYL Msizi from the National Freedom Party.
Yes.
You had the FF Plus. There they had the person. You had Good. You had Azapo at some stage, okay, being in cabinet. But there was a due process that a leader of the executive will follow. You will not just go to appoint somebody from Good without engaging the leadership of Good. It's that structure that says this is the person that we are availing. Okay? So those things are sorted out in what is being proposed. Like I was saying, it's only at that point where you will be able to say, is this GNU real or is a vehicle that will not move? The test is when now the president exercises his constitutional power to constitute the executive.
When Hannah Buaka, the cabinet, did you hear what she said about the cabinet constitution? When Clement was asking here, now how the cabinet looks like. She's certain and she's on point to say 30% of that cabinet is going to be the yes.
Yes, based on a clause here.
Yes.
Clause 16.
That's what they will bargain for.
Who? The DA and the ANC.
Obviously, all the parties that are in the GNU will want to bargain for certain positions. You can't go there. There's no party. There's no party, whether it's MK or whether it's EFF, whether it's DA, that will go to that discussion and say, my lord, give me anything you want, my lord. These are political parties. These are political parties. They'll always want more than what they can bargain for.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, they've got constituencies to satisfy.
Hey, I'm listening. Yes. All of the point. Because
but she made it clear that 30% of the ministerial positions, irrespective of how big or how small the cabinet is going to be, must go to the DA.
Can we play it again? Please, can you play it again?
I think she was very clear. We all heard what she said.
Yes.
Yeah.
And remember, that's why we are
But who says what Zile says is the law?
Yes.
Because
she's that's what it will happen.
She's the signatory to the intent.
So Kgosi, we have been
ANC. She's a signatory to this intent.
We have been very clear as the youth that we're saying that with this GNU agreement, we must, what she first said, we must agree that in policy shift,
yes,
it is not going to go anywhere.
Okay.
If it speaks to what the document articulates in terms of service delivery,
yes,
that's where we can have hope and see.
As the youth league, right?
As the youth league emergency unit.
Okay.
We are saying that since we have these postures, we're observing it. But she said something also before she said on the 60%, she said that they want to, as the DA, minimize ministerial positions in government. Which they also have to take that debate again to the 60%. So I'm saying that this is where the voter's voice was very clear. No one must dictate over the other. Hence, we never gave anyone a majority. So why is it difficult for people to respect the wishes of the voter?
It's unfortunately PK. Unfortunately, God DA is dictating terms to you as the ANC. Unfortunately, a more pampering. It's there. The lady has made it.
All that you must just say that DA is the most loudest in this thing.
And it seems like ANC is listening to them.
And the ANC, we've never ever practiced policies of being loud.
But then the ANC seems like it's listening to the DA.
We've always focused on delivering services and putting the people first.
Yeah.
Hence, when they came about this government of national unity, it was always centered on the people first.
Okay.
Centered on the democratic pillars that we built the country on.
Yeah.
So that's how the ANC operates. We're not going to stand and make howls, where else we are focused on delivering service to the people, giving the people what they wanted.
All right.
And if the people had voted that the ANC must not be a majority, so be the people's voice. Hence, we're not going to undermine the people's voice.
Yeah.
No, I'm just looking at this document that you are talking about, and it seems Helen Zille has contributed a lot, and I know she's a very powerful lady. So sitting here, I'm actually realizing that other parties, they will have to pull up their socks, because I'm proud of her. I'm really proud of her, because we are sitting here, we are frustrated. we are really frustrated by Zille. It tells you that she's going to frustrate the hell of everybody in that parliament.
Yeah.
And she's the woman that we know that she wants to be there and deliver. So it's what we expected as well.
Yes.
Other people also of other parties, as much as I'm not into parties, I'm into service delivery, because we as people, we are not interested in you squabbles and then that party, because that is what I see is an interest here. There are so many parties, each person has an ego, that my party this, my party that. We are not interested.
Yes.
It's about service delivery, and that we must service deliver. But then Helen Zille here is showing everybody that this is how it is done. And as this woman, as Imbogodo, as powerful as she is, she's already putting her foot down and showing everybody that I am going to work and DA is coming, and then it means ANC also must step up, and all other parties must step up, because we're sitting here, Helen Zille this, Helen Zille that, and that says to me, She is the main person who drafted that policy.
Exactly.
We still remain and say that the verdict will be out once the ministers are appointed.
But
Until now,
30% of those ministers are going to be for
But
DA.
she is the main
we
person
will
who
talk
drafted the
when ministers
document.
are
Wait,
out.
can I tell you what
We've
the
been
template
clear.
is?
We've
Yes.
been
The
clear
template
since
is
we
the
began
KZN.
here.
Okay.
We've never left what we have said. We said that this thing will be clear once ministers are
The
appointed.
template
Okay.
is
And
the
until
KZN.
then,
All right.
we will listen to rhetoric. You'll say
Do you
it's powerful.
okay? Are you
It's
saying
not the first time.
all ministers will be ANC ministers?
No. You want me to say that? No, we are saying.
I'm asking.
No,
Do you
our-
think, as a youth league, would you desire that?
We've been constant in saying that the ANC, it's time for it now to wake up and go back to the ground.
Yes.
Using the youth league as a vehicle.
Yeah.
We've been saying that on and on and on. We are saying that the debate of minister and so forth, it's fine, but the youth league must focus on going back to communities and being the face of problem solving. That is where our debate starts. That's where our debate ends.
Okay.
But we are saying that this thing of the GNU, we are still going to observe it through when it manifests as through the appointment of ministers. That is our viewpoint since we got to the show.
So
I'm not going to give
then
you
what
a
if
number.
30% of it is the DA ministers and then the rest is ANC? How are you guys going to take it as a youth league?
We're going to go back to the ground and work the ground again.
And
Be
do
the
what?
voice
Work
of
the
young
ground how? I
people.
can understand how
Be
work
the voice
ground
of
how.
young
Make it
people.
practical for me.
Champion the interest of young people. You know what the issue, as we've been saying, that the issue is that the ANC has left young people in a space of vacuum.
Okay.
When we speak about the youth vote, let's be honest, the youth vote in these elections has been split among other parties. No single party that we claim the youth vote. It's been split among various parties, PA, what do you call this, Mzansi, Rise Mzansi. So they've been split. So the job of the youth league now is to go back to every community, be the face of problem solving. That's it. We can't be sitting here debating about ministers. It's disingenuous because you can debate ministers, but your constituency says that we are not affected by politics. Whereas this vote of theirs is the one that gave us this outcome.
You are the one who said we will come to this as when ministers have been constituted. So my question to you was, then if let's say the youth league, Lena, these ministers, 30% of that cabinet is DA. Ne? What will your stance be?
Our stance
because you got two stands. You said one. Like you said, you will still have to question the GNU, correct?
Yes.
And then now comes this one, cabinet. Now, cabinet is no longer ANC full, let's say, for example. It's now going to be 30% DA, like the 60% into ANC. Where will you stand as the youth league of Tshwane?
Let me go back to what you were saying. You are saying the first stance that we said on, we said that service delivery must reach young people.
Yes.
Which means unemployment, your NSFAS issues, even the NHI that has just been approved before the closure of the previous government. We want to question that. So when the appointment of ministers happen, the only time we'll be able to fully come out with the stance is when we see if actually services are being provided. If services are being provided on the ground, that's when we can speak. When we speak about NSFAS, we won't compromise in terms of NSFAS remaining free to each and every young people and accessible.
Okay.
We won't compromise on that.
All right.
We won't compromise.
Even the DA says no.
We won't compromise as the youth league when it comes to our needs as young people.
Okay.
We won't compromise. We won't compromise on job creation for young people and tangible jobs.
Yeah.
So those are our stance that we want to see this government that says that services are at the service delivery is at the primary reason why this thing is formed. Is it true or is it not? So we are still waiting and wanting to see how this thing is unpacked.
So are you still saying it's a GNU or it's a coalition?
It's a GNU until we are proven otherwise.
All right.
It is very imperative that the youth, and I'm glad that my son is saying so, it is very imperative that the youth, especially these other parties, they need to take these documentations or these laws or these policies that are drafted, like, for example, now, the one that we are sitting with from Helen Zire. They must take these documents seriously.
Yeah.
That is where everything starts.
Yeah.
We can't wait when then we are given documents to comply and then we comply. You need to take part fully in structuring the documents that are going to talk to your future. So we can't say, no, once we are expected to work, we will work and we will deliver. This is where the work started. The DNA of South Africa, we are building it. Helen Zille is going to build it without you knowing what is built. And then I'm also surprised that the very same document that we are having, I don't know if you are at liberty to review it. Are you able to review it? Because if it's a unity party, it means that the very same document that they came up with, you can't just then sit and we discuss it and then we comply or we abide by it. Why can't you review it and then you go to the very same party and say, this is 1, 2, 3, or it is not at our level, it is at a higher level?
Yeah.
I'd like to add. So, look, Helen Zille has been preaching this thing since 2022. So it has been in the pipeline, it's been in the making. The same way we've been saying John Steenhuisen is going to be Ukomri deputy president, and they're going to take Mashatile and throw him into a prison cell. Or they're going to charge him, and then they're going to tell him to step aside. We've been saying these things for 2 years, and now it's taking place. But let's look at KZN, and we look at how that whole entire structure has been put together.
Yeah.
The DA got MEC of Finance, and they got MEC of Public Works and Infrastructure. Listen to what the DA is saying. You need to listen to what the DA is saying, because what they say is a prophecy. It's going to happen. It's been the case for the past 2 years.
Yes.
The DA is saying they want an experienced individual that comes from the financial institutions, that comes from the financial industry, that is going to come in, who's an external, who is not into any politics or any aligned to any political party, is going to come in and be the Minister of Finance.
Yeah.
And then you look at what they did in KZN with a DA MEC of Finance, who is going to be controlling the entire budget of KZN, which is 121 billion. And now they want to do the same thing and use the same template at national government, but not under the DA, but bringing in their own person from capital to go and control the treasury.
Yeah.
And guess who's going to give them the go-ahead?
Yeah.
It's the ANC.
Eish.
Of Ramaphosa.
But we can't blame Helen Zille. She's been hands-on. She's been proactive. And if you sitting back and then you are waiting for Helen Zille, she's in Bogodo. She's working. Where?
So now Robert,
Stop sleeping. Hands, wait, and I wanted the chairperson from that side to respond to why I actually asked what I asked. The reason I asked, why did they then really said we will only work with ANC if it was led by Ramaphosa? So where I'm sitting, it is because they knew that they will then do whatever they do easily. It's soft there. If ever then somebody else, they wouldn't be able to achieve. They wouldn't be able to achieve what they want to achieve. The only way they can achieve what they want to achieve is only when it is the current leader. So,
but the question that Mama's leaving out is very simple. Why did the MK and the EFF turn down the ANC in beginning with wanting to dictate what should happen in the ANC structure? That's the first question you should ask before even going to the DA. That's the first one.
Something that I want to answer.
No, I can answer that question.
Can I just answer first?
Okay.
Can I just answer first? It is very important, you leaders of ours, to realize that we are not interested in you arguing.
But Mama, you just said you are interested. Please answer the question.
No,
you are very interested. You are telling us now that why. Yes, you should tell us, because you are telling us that the ANC went to the pro-white party. But we are asking you now. You are taking a stance. You are not impartial.
Yes.
You were supposed to be impartial, but you were not.
Okay,
you took a side. So I'm asking you now that why did the MK and the EFF turn down when the ANC said these are our first options? Then you are making
Let me answer you.
The ANC does not care about race, about black people. The ANC is a non-racial. It cares about all society. Hence, it went to these ones that come from the ANC first. So you must be able to know. I'm talking to Mama.
BK.
I want to correct you.
I've asked Mama.
Remember, we are having.
You are not impartial.
Remember, we are not impartial. We are all
not impartial. Allow Mama to
allow you to answer, Sheba.
Let Mama
but
answer.
born,
you are not impartial. Kgosi, you are not impartial.
One thing for sure,
allow
BK.
Mama to answer.
BK,
Kgosi, allow Mama to answer. We are having a debate.
Let me just come in here for
no, but let her answer.
One thing for sure, you must understand.
Let her answer, then you come in.
Melita is not. Melita.
Let Mama answer first. But allow Mama to answer. Kgosi, you are not impartial. We keep on saying this. please.
BK,
Stop taking a side.
Making noise won't help anything. Listen,
we are saying to
Sama
let
Tom,
Mama answer.
as a host of,
Kgosi,
I am not going to say
but you're not impartial. The hosts are impartial. You are not impartial on this host.
Sama Tom, you are badgering her.
No, I've asked
you
the
are
question.
badgering her.
How am I bashing by
and Sama Tom,
asking a
she's
question?
not experienced person as you are.
No.
You are badgering her,
Kgosi,
and I'm going to intervene in that regard.
You have never been impartial in this interview.
You cannot badger. You cannot badger
and host the show.
Okay.
That's my issue. That you don't want Mama to answer. Let Mama answer. Mama says she
No,
wants to
but
answer.
he's not saying she's not going to answer.
I didn't say she's not going to answer.
Let Mama answer.
I never said so. I'm saying to you, do not badger. Okay, sharp. Let me just get in here for a minute. You can't badger somebody like that.
I never badgered.
I am. Learn to listen even people listen to you.
But you're
You
saying
cannot. Yeah, you have been doing that. And I'm going to tell
you. Ask the question.
You cannot badger someone like that.
But Kgosi, I've asked the question.
Some Tom.
I asked the question.
It doesn't mean.
But you're saying I'm badgering. I'm
but
telling
you
you
are
I've asked the
badgering her.
question.
And I'm
asked the question,
born. You cannot badger her like
the
that.
same way that you have taken a side.
I'm not taking any side.
You have.
I'm a host of the show.
You are very clear. You were
and
never
what I'm saying to you,
were never
I'm going to go to Born.
You are lying to the public.
Badger
but
her.
fine, lying to the public.
Don't badger her like that.
I never badgered.
Mama,
I asked the question.
This, you don't do that.
No, I've quoted what Mama's been saying.
Can I come?
My problem with
because we're asking a question, we must not answer a question. I must not ask a question.
I never said
but
she can't
asked
answer.
A question. Then allow her to answer.
I'm going to allow her to answer shame. But let me just give you. Let me give you.
But allow the Mama to answer. Then you'll enter.
BK.
Allow Mama to answer. You want to even make her lose a chain of thought.
BK. Learn to listen. Learn to listen. How about what Tetimren? Learn to listen as well.
We've been listening to you.
You're not listening to me. Don't badger the other person next to you. You have been doing that. Learn to accept. Learn to accept. The question, what was the question? You ask a question. MK, what's this? You don't badger the person into submission.
Why is it? You have bring this to me the whole show. You have asked me while I was answering a question.
I've been quiet. I've been quiet all along.
She's not a politician. She's not a politician.
She's not a politician. So you cannot expect her.
Can I answer? I'm going to answer you, and I'm glad that I'm here. Look, this is exactly the frustration that we are having. I am an employee of a certain company within the Department of South Africa. So, you see, my son, what you've done, it's exactly what frustrates us. I am a client to you right now. I'm not a politician. I am here to raise my frustrations to you. And you, as a person who's a party leader or representing ANC, you should humble yourself and try to meet me halfway to understand, not to get angry and fight with me because I'm frustrated.
No one's angry.
No, wait.
Emma,
no,
BK.
I'm telling you.
Emma,
I'm just
BK.
telling you because I am.
Can I answer after?
No, I'm just trying to
please.
educate.
Yeah.
The frustration that we are having as the public or as the people of South Africa is exactly what was demonstrated now here. I am frustrated as a person of South Africa with what is happening. And I'm giving you feedback with the things that I'm observing as a person of South Africa. So I'm expecting you guys to treat me with understanding that this person is not even a political leader or whatever. She wants answers. So you need to give me answers, but without exactly what he's saying. And I have my rights as well to say, even if I didn't want to answer, maybe I don't answer because of... The reason is, I want you to answer. You are the one who's an ANC member. I have questions. Don't get angry because it's not going to take us anywhere. In 2024, what we need to do now, we need to put hands together. He raised a very important point, the point that all of us as South Africans are still questioning, and I'm one of those people. Why so many parties? Why wasting our time with so many parties? Each and every party leader has got an ego. You have an ego to start your own party so that I don't know if ever there's an advantage if you have a party. Why don't you just join all these parties and become one? Because we are frustrated, Puti. We are frustrated as South Africans. And with this national unity, we are hoping that things will change. And where I'm sitting, I'm not hoping that we are going to get you guys frustrating us. If we go look for services, you are not attending to us. You are busy doing your own things. You're frustrating us. We are frustrated, my son. We are frustrated, and at least in this forum, I'm expecting to be accommodated, to understand that I'm this woman who's frustrated, and we are raising points. Yourselves, as party leaders, you are frustrated yourselves. If yourselves are frustrated, how much more us? Because we are not with you. We don't know what is happening, but we are hearing you. Around this table, I'm hearing you frustrated. So Why can't I be double frustrated?
All right.
No,
So, of course,
can I
next time
answer?
you must be impartial.
No.
This thing of-
Can I answer, please?
Let me answer this one. Impartiality, BK, does not mean I cannot give my own opinion. One. Being impartial does not mean I can't give my own opinion. First and foremost. That's why you have a debate. That's why I always have an argument. If I say something, put something in the group, for example, it's a debate. You understand what I'm saying? You'll come with your different view, I'll come with my different view. And we debate it amongst ourselves, let's smart. And then we interrogate and we destroy it. If it's gone, it's gone. I can have that. Some Tom, Milita is not a politician like us. She can't argue like
No
you
one
and me.
said she did.
She can't argue like you and me. She can't argue like Nalimsis and Tokona smart. As a committee member, she's like a neutral thing amongst all of us here. You understand what I'm saying?
Of course, we never know.
But then,
We never know.
conclusion, that's what destroys everything. And that's what I said in the group earlier.
You know what?
Let me just answer this one. I told this other tonality in the group that I had in the Ward 60 because they've already made a conclusion just because I'm critical of the ANC. I've said it from the beginning. I'm not a voting cow. I don't just vote without questioning anything. I don't just vote without questioning anything. And if something is wrong, it's wrong. Whether we like it or not. We can't just support for the sake of supporting. So how not with you?
Allow
with
me
you,
to respond.
I don't have a chance to respond. So,
No, but I first have to enter on this.
yeah,
issue.
no. Let me just address you straight away. And don't pay chance to give a blame. I'm going to give you a chance to talk as well. That the moment it's into a debate, BK, with you like we won't know. I'm here sitting here in front of all of you, giving this thing are discussing on an equal playing field. But I'm gonna have my own opinion. I'm gonna put something there as well, as the host of the show. And if you don't like it, it's unfortunate because it's a debate. It's not a conclusive everything. So how understand what conclusion with you like we won't know? Then you're defeating the whole purpose.
No, but it's true. And I have it's feasible. And whenever you ask me a question, I answer. In the middle, you interrupt me.
All of you have been doing that.
No.
Ntsigira beka General Smuts. Ntsigira yalo ka wena. Ntsigira yalo ka Melita. Ntsigira yalo ka everyone.
Why don't you want me to finish my point?
Let's not make it a unique thing because you are lying.
No, because I'm telling you the truth. Whenever I spoke, you interrupted
General
me.
Smuts
When he spoke, you
coming.
never interrupted him. Even General Smuts got in the middle of him. Then he said to us, let's not enter there because I was on a point of this. You're trying to remove me. He said it. So if you go back and listen to a podcast, whenever others speak, you don't interrupt. Myself and General Smuts, you're always jumping in the middle.
No, but
you
he
must be
speaks
honest.
for 5 minutes uninterrupted.
No, but you must allow me to speak. When I speak, you interrupt me. But when he speaks, you listen to the whole point. That's why I'm saying you are impartial. You don't run a debate like that.
Okay.
You know very well you don't do that.
Let me just ask one question. 2 minutes.
Back and see.
Summer Tom. Not every point deserves to be interrogated in the middle. Number one.
Only our points.
If you come with that, if you come with that concept, already since the debate,
no, but you can't interrupt people. It's the same if I interrupt you now. How is it going to be? If I interrupt you now, can you see how irritating it is?
If your point needs to be interrupted, my bro, it will be interrupted. And if he
you've never interrupted.
Because whatever their points they were saying, whenever their points they were saying,
it fails you to be impartial.
Let me assist.
And we understand your feelings.
Let me assist. Do you know why? No, do you know why he feels like this?
Yeah.
This document is about him.
Okay.
That's why he feels like this. We need to interrogate him.
Yeah.
We need to interrogate their stance. We need to.
The document is about all parties.
Come on. But it is about them. It's about the IFP, it's about the DA, it's about the NC. The NC is here. We must interrogate the NC. He cannot be emotional now and crying and kicking his toes all over the place because we're interrogating his document. If you need to interrupt his point, you're going to interrupt his point. When we were here debating the issue of the MK manifesto, you would interrupt us and ask us questions.
Yes.
And you tell us, wait, no, don't enter that. I want us to enter into that debate after this. And you'd interrupt us because you were scrutinizing us.
Yes.
Now we are scrutinizing this GNU, which at the center and at the core, the ANC is there.
Yeah.
So now why can't we can't sit and not interrogate and interrupt and not scrutinize? The problem is that he is being scrutinized on an issue that he doesn't understand because he says he can't speak for the SG. He can't speak for Helen.
I've been quoting the SG, my brother.
No, but you said you can't speak for the SG. You can't speak for Helen Zil.
But I can't speak for Helen.
And all he speaks for is the NC Youth League. But now the problem is this is the position of his party.
I've quoted the SG.
If your party takes a position, you're going to defend that position. You can't tell us that, no, the SG already said this. I can't say anything further.
That's what the SG said.
No, but we are interrogating you as well.
When we interrogate yourselves, you throw the NC card. And when we interrogate yourselves, you throw the NC card. Hence my question was very simple, was saying to you that why was the MK and the EFF declining to enter the enter into an agreement with the NC?
Okay.
That was the first point. The second point, it's saying that before it even got to the DA, is it because the DA got into an agreement that all of a sudden is anti-black? But when the EFF enters into an agreement with the ANC, it's with the DA, it's on service delivery. But why is it that when the ANC does the same, it's no, we are not playing fair? We must ask these questions because you guys are the first one as the MK to say that we want to correct the ANC by causing this nyaga of leaving the ANC. Now that the ANC has to go into an alliance with a pro-right party, it becomes all of a sudden, no, the ANC has done 1, 2, 3, but you are the ones that began the problem.
Okay, Mchana, let me enter. Firstly, the MK had a media briefing on Sunday, whereby Athazwane, the SG, corrected all of these misconceptions and these misleading arguments that they come up with. One, the issue of the MK coming up with ridiculous demands and all of these things, those things are not true.
Yeah.
Those things are not true. And he stated clearly that the MK has got a team which includes Nkosi Ndlovu, which included Usihle Ngubane and I think other 2 comrades. So SG, it was recorded. He said that he was being told Ubaba Gekho, which is a lie. Because all political parties had a team that go and negotiate. Yeah. Why then do they want to jump the team that negotiates and go speak to Ubaba directly? Because they were saying that, no, you speak to us. And there were meetings that took place between the NC and MK twice. So why was Mbalula then lying about all of these things? There's no such a thing that took place. The same issue happened in KZN with IFP, where IFP came out and said they waited for 4 hours. And SG clarified that issue and said, no, this is a lie. There was already a pre-arranged arrangement that was there between IFP, the DA, and the ANC because of this GNU. Hence, now the IFP is coming now and is acting like a victim that is there. What happened was the MK asked the IFP to actually postpone the meeting from 5 to 6.
Yes.
And then the IFP did not respond to that. And then later comes back and says, no, they waited for 4 hours. But there was official communication that went out to them and they acknowledged it. So that's not true. But also on the issue of, they said they're non-racial part. The question is, were they formed for non-racialism or the motive forces behind the formation of the ANC was black people? It was not white people and all these other things that are there. It was the injustices against the African people. It was not all this non-racial rhetoric that you hear. After it's all said and done, the motive forces and the reasons the existence of the ANC is because of the black child. Yeah. That's it. And also, he said, wrongfully so, that she took a side. She did not take a side. Her question was based on what I said, that the DA has said they are going to work, even it's what you said, they're going to work with the ANC of Ramaphosa. They're going to work with the ANC of Ramaphosa. The question is, what is so special about him? Because they said that even before conference, why him specifically? It means there's either a prior agreement that is there, or they know that it's their guy, it's their ticket to whatever that they want to accomplish for the white society in South Africa. So that was her question, and then he attacked and said she's taking a side. Yes, that's what you did.
I did not do that.
But
why is it that the MK always has issues with, can I just pose a question? Why is it that the MK has similar similar excuses with the ANC? No one said that, Baba. They said that when they interviewed, they said that Zuma was not there. Which is right. Which what he said, he was not there. But you said that they sent a negotiation. Every party does.
They spoke twice.
But that's the first one.
So number
2, when the EFF when the IFP went, there was another. The MK seems to forget that, so that they were the ones that were saying that let's have a rerun. They are not attending parliament because they want a rerun of the elections. So when you speak about negotiations,
we can debate all of that.
Are you telling me that these people decided to negotiate while they're saying let's have a rerun? For me, that does not make sense. You take a posture of a rerun, then you want to negotiate while you rerun.
Okay,
That's a different debate.
Remember.
We can unpack it now.
Yeah,
we can unpack it now.
Okay. Remember the whole point here when I became everybody else in General Smuts was about interrogating this document.
Exactly.
But
right?
the document.
No, it's
This
different.
document.
Sorry, finish.
And for us to come to a conclusion, are we having a GNU or are we having a coalition within the DA with disguise with other parties saying the GNU?
A multi-party.
Exactly.
coalition.
Because GNU is all about everyone. Going back to the beginning of the show, Smuts GNU is everyone.
Yes.
Not specific parties, which are now giving demands at the moment. And the leader of another party, which is big in government, gave you 19.4 clause, airing 60% of the seats in parliament will make decisions for this thing. Do you agree? And that is the GA and the EFF, I mean the ANC. Listen to what Clement Matela said. Okay. Aye.
You are not going to be
Listen.
able to do anything as the ANC without the approval of the DA. And I'm saying that because if 60%, because this document says where consensus is not possible, the principle of sufficient consensus must apply. Sufficient consensus exists when parties representing 60% of the seats in the National Assembly agree, as you've stated. So you already have 40%. The DA has 20%. You could very well put up a position in cabinet, for instance, where the IFP agree with you, the PA, the PAC, Good Party agrees with you, but that's not enough for you to pass that. You are still going to need the approval of the Democratic Alliance for the decisions that you make.
No, consensus and sufficient consensus is a deadlock breaking mechanism where there is an issue on the table and there is no agreement. But it does not in itself hamstring the functioning of cabinet in terms of decision making.
Yes, and that's the point I'm making, that for it to be a decision, 60%, if there's no consensus, have to agree to that. You don't have that 60% with the IFP, the Good Party, the PAC. You need the DA to rubber stamp every time that there's a deadlock. For there to be 60% consensus, you need the DA to rubber stamp that. Without their numbers, you can't have a legitimate decision that you say this is a result of sufficient consensus.
No, it is incorrect. Cabinet does not function on the basis outside the realm of the constitutional prescript. And the question of goodwill in terms of functioning and smooth functioning and putting together the GNU government, it means where there are contradictions and issues that need to be resolved will be resolved by sufficient consensus.
If, as the government of the government of national unity, you're working on a statement, you're discussing what's happening in the Middle East, you believe as the ANC that you must characterize as cabinet what's happening in the Middle East as genocide. The Democratic Alliance, with their 20% in that cabinet, say we don't agree with that. That's a deadlock, right? So for the president to come out and say this is an approved cabinet decision and I'm communicating it, when there has been a deadlock where the ANC says it's a genocide in the Middle East, the DA says it is not. Are you saying that even when the DA has said no with their 40%, the president can still come out and take that decision as sufficient and having been agreed by the collective, and it's still a legitimate decision that is reached to after consensus?
We are not talking about a negotiated political settlement here. We have long moved out of that. This is a GNU with special characteristics in which we talk about the normal operation and functioning of government, which in itself is not hamstrung by the fact that for every cabinet member and decision to be taken, it will at all material times be subjected to disagreement. So the question is, should that actually arise, determined by the number of political parties that are there that participate? We have then put the question of sufficient consensus to arrive at the decision.
I agree with you, which is why in the beginning I didn't say every single cabinet decision. Of course, let's say 80% or 90% of the times, you guys are going to agree. But the reality is there are policy differences, which is why I'm using the national minimum wage for a reason. I'm using the war in the Middle East for a reason, because that's where you don't see eye to eye. So in that 1 or 5%, where you have fundamental differences in policy, how do you deal with it? That's
the minimum wage cannot be reversed.
Yeah, but that's it. I'm saying, what if you want to increase it by R1? The DA doesn't believe in that.
The question is, there is no party that has got the veto power within the government of national unity. So for us to agree, it means that we put a threshold not of a single party. You must understand the 60% how it operates. Start with 50%, which would have included, if it was a grand coalition, 2 parties. Mm-hmm. But the fact that we have broadened that, reflective of the parties that are in the National Assembly to participate in the GNU, you have then raised the threshold to 60%. So it means of those parties that participate, that will determine broadly a bigger decision that needs to be taken within government.
And you as the ANC with 40%, let's say you've got the IFP, the DA, the PAC, the Good Party, that still doesn't give you 50%, does it? You need the DA. That's the point I'm trying to make.
It might as well happen that the DA disagrees, but I'm saying it does not have the veto power from not saying the decision cannot be taken. The threshold of 60% is of all the parties which will be participating.
And I'm saying you don't have...
I think we should just speak facts.
Did you guys read this document in the first place? Hi, BKM. Did you read this thing?
Yes. Can I answer? Can I answer? Can I answer? I think Mbalula there had shot himself in the foot. You're supposed to be honest with people that there's no outright majority party. That's the first. If the DA also wants to pass something, the ANC has to rubber stamp on it as well. Same vis-a-vis applies. And that should have been the honest truth. And you should not have went into other things. As we have said in the beginning of the podcast, that we don't see this GNU reaching any agreement in terms of policy outlook. But in terms of running the government's day to day, that way maybe it can reach it can be divisive.
Okay. Why do you still have Mr. SG?
We elected him at a conference.
General Smuts. What's your take on that one?
No. When you read that document, you must read it in its entirety.
Yes.
For an example, it talks about the established protocols in terms of the work of cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So go back and check how cabinet operates. You don't sit in cabinet and say, let's take a vote. How many are in favor? How many are opposed to this? In cabinet, you listen to each other. For an example, one cabinet member can raise something that is just fundamental to necessitate a cabinet memo to be referred back to a department for certain matters to be reworked. Okay? It's an established protocol. So the document reaffirms the work, the established procedures of working in cabinet.
Yes.
It will not mean that, an impression how it's argued out there. It's argued as if you'll not have the head of that cabinet. You still have the head of cabinet in the form of a president, okay, with appointed members of the executive. And that president has authority over all the members. It does not mean if you are from this party or from that party, a president of a republic does not have authority over you. He does. Okay? So that's an established protocol and way of running cabinet. Now, the important thing is that you are also dealing with parties that never thought that one day they'll have to sit around and work together. Okay? So it's something that requires time to accept each other. I must accept reality that now in 2024, some of my own comrades are now in a new party called MKP. Okay?
Yeah.
If I'm struggling with that reality, then I'm a bit backward. I must accept that reality.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, so that's the nature of the democracy we are building.
Like they think
You don't become angry. Yeah, you don't become angry that there's this development.
Yeah.
You move with the times as things develop. Okay? So the work of strengthening the GNU, even after it kicks off with the constitution of government, from where I'm seated, it's a continuous process. You don't say, we've now constituted government, we are closing everybody out. No. Okay? Even if with this case that MKP is taken to the court, if after that case they say, well, this is our view now, we are prepared to can engage. And these are the sort of things that we want to see being resolved for us to come in. You engage them. You don't say, you didn't want at the beginning, you took us to court. You don't behave like that. You know, it's within their right to take matters to court. So you can't hold it against them forever. Okay? So this is what we're dealing with, and it requires some form of maturity. But also South Africans are from a history wherein there's fear. On the white community, there's what was called swart gevaar.
Yeah.
Okay? On the part of the black community, I mean, for God's sake, 30 years after abolition of apartheid laws, how do you say this arrangement will bring back apartheid? Okay? Just not possible. So we need to define the new challenges and how you deal with those new challenges. For me, it requires a new attitude of looking at things. It also requires a re-look at how you approach matters in relation to what the people on the ground need.
All right.
But surely, from our side as the ANC, you will require a different cadre. You know? Because if you had somebody who was used just to second what people say without really engaging, that time is over. What you need now, you need a member of parliament, you need a minister, you need an MEC who can be able to listen to what others are saying.
All right.
So that the product reflects the general view of parties represented in parliament.
Okay. All right. Thank you, General, so much.
Kgosi,
Yes.
apartheid never died, it multiplied. It moved into the financial sector, it became institutional racism. It never died.
Yeah.
It multiplied, they just expanded the tax base, and then they moved up to the boardrooms and basically used us as slaves. We are just labor slaves.
Now what I always say to people is that don't think that it will come back in policy. There's nothing like that. It can't come back in policy when a big no more white people come up. They can't. Look at Cape Town. Have you ever been to Cape Town?
Yes, I have. I was
When
very
yourself?
young.
How was it for Ellen, just a black person there? I was there 2014, brother. I'll never go back there. Can't go back there again, to be honest with you, because of when you enter Cape Town, the Mid Valley, Mid Valley, yeah, Mid Valley. I was there. I was going there when I was still doing. Smuts is off. Mid Valley, I would go in there when I was doing medicals for insurance, right? So I'll go and see clients collect bloods and whatever samples for insurance purposes. And I'm shaking enough phone. Hey, General, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back, but we'll need to release me because I am scheduled to do a telecon just after 10.
Oh, maybe let's release you now, and then you can just give us a closing. Then because you're way over time. Maybe give us a closing remarks in short, then we will take it from there.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I'm happy with this debate that's taking place. There's no blueprint on what will work. It will be sort of as we debate, as we engage. That should serve to add value to the GNU that the president talked to. That's for me the first important thing. The second important thing is that the real test on this GNU will depend when the president then constitutes the cabinet.
Right.
That's when we will say this government, will it really be a government of national unity? Seeing how the process unfolds and the product emanating from there.
Right.
Otherwise, thank you very much for the opportunity. It was a good discussion. I enjoyed the input that comrades and colleagues have made, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
No, thank you so much for availing yourself, guys. You're busy too much. And Friday we're doing ours. I can menu your autobiography on air. I get this coming Friday.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll put up a poster for everyone who will see, and then can be able to listen to the general speaking about himself, how he come from. But the general, thank you so much. But stop calling it GNU, remember.
well, in political science theory, that's what it is, and the test is in its composition.
All right, thanks, my brother. Have a good night. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
All right, bye. Like I was saying, guys, I was in Cape Town 2014, right?
Midval.
Eh? Yeah, Midval. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, in Midval, all small projects, potholes, grass cutting, they're all white. A van at some if you the pothole and kid the run respect. Remember Midval, Kades boy Baloi.
Yes.
Went in Shiluba now.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll see that it's a venically buru. Every street you go to, you'll see them doing. It's black people doing the manual work. There's a white person inside the van. There's in landscaping, whatever. Midval, the best run municipality in Gauteng, according to the DA, the partner of this ANC area, which I am a part of, but people are taking me out to You go to Cape Town. You enter Cape Town, it's like, am I in another country, guys, where I'm not allowed to be here as a black person? That's what people are talking about, bring back apartheid.
Yes.
It's not going to be the matter of policy. Born. You're not going to come in here because of people. No, you're going to feel we are back in charge. Why the people don't go to, maybe politicians need to go to X, Twitter,
yes,
and just read those comments, BK. Yes. All of us as black people, especially in our leadership, just go to X, and read comments. I'm being threatened now. Because I stand and say, like, you.
But still, we must understand this is the people's vote. They vote, the results of the election.
But the problem is, why DA? Of all the parties, maybe gravel to MK.
We all agree.
Gravel to
we
EFF.
all agree that no one got a majority.
Gravel
the
to everyone.
Is
yes.
Why do you go with
remember,
an apartheid
exactly.
organization?
The
of
SG
Tony Leon
said it very clear that they went to the pro-black parties.
Which
but the no-go negotiation was very simple. We're not going to interfere in your structures, the MK or the EFF. Don't interfere in ours. Let's engage on how we bring services to people. But that's where this thing started. And it was very clear that they wanted a government of unity.
And it's a
and the one that was open to the idea was the one that everyone is saying is pro-white.
Except for the EFF involved in.
No,
except for MK.
Yes.
No, but they said they went to
They are talking about how they wanted to discuss issues of policy and service delivery. And yet, that is not the discussion they had with the DA.
That's happening now, yes.
Yes, they're going to a policy whereby they're going to draft all of these policy issues that are going to be there and decide on them. And where there's a deadlock, then sufficient consensus is going to kick in. And then after that is done, whatever resolutions from that policy, those policies are going to be implemented in cabinet, where you'll find the so-called smooth sailing of the running of government. But you're not going to have a government that's going to be constituted before the policy is resolved on, and the policies that are going to be implemented in government. It's logic. It just makes sense. You can't now dispute that. It means the DA and the NC did not discuss policy positions. They did not.
So meaning each and every policy they will come up with, it will go.
No, whatever discussions, whatever that is going to be resolved at the policy lekgotla, as yes. John Steenhuisen Ubas has spoken. Whatever, and listen to what I'm saying. Yes. I'm not saying that the DA is gonna win in that policy, Lekgotla. I'm not saying the ANC is gonna win. I'm saying whatever that comes out of that is gonna be implemented in government.
Yeah.
Whether it's minimum wage increase, whether it's NSFAS being scrapped or being kept or being expanded on, whatever that comes out of that is gonna be implemented in government, and the smooth running of government will take place only after the policy Lekgotla resolves on issues. But it means that the ANC did not discuss the issues of policies. When they met, what were they discussing there? Because they still have to go discuss policies. He says that the EFF and the MK did not want to discuss issues of policies and service delivery. They wanted to interfere with structures. What were they discussing with the DA? Because he also doesn't know.
No, I'm saying, as I said to the SG was very clear when he spoke. He said the natural gravitation of the ANC would have been an EFF, MK. But the barrier was that they were commanding that the president be removed. And else this president is the one that we've been running election campaigns with, the one that was elected in the conference of the ANC.
Okay.
So therefore, the easier discussion came with the DA, which was focused on service delivery. Hence, when I got here, the first thing I said to you was that on policy, we don't see this thing working out as the youth, first of all. Secondly, we see it working only in terms of service delivery. So on policy, the differs, we can like to sugarcoat as much as we want to sugarcoat.
Yeah.
But there's East and West in terms of what the ANC's outlook is on how on policy, on how the DA is on policy. So them meeting each other halfway, one will be doing wrong to their constituents. We must be honest with that. And hence we are saying that whenever it goes to that 60% deadlock, we don't see any agreement being reached or anything being agreed on. Hence we are saying that the only focus point that we're going to judge this thing on is, as they said, service delivery. Policy, we don't see it going to an agreement on policy.
So do you think
what guides service delivery though?
Yeah. So do you it is policies, right?
But the policies of the ANC that have been already been implemented and been used in government, they still have to go debate them for them to fall off, which means that on policy they cannot go debate upon because no one's going to give them that vote. Someone has to rubber stamp. So hence we are saying that the policies that are already here, the public has said the policies are fine, but we have a problem with one party governing it. That's what the public has said. So they want acceleration on service delivery. They want to see these policies that we say that are loved by the public. They want it reaching each and every person on the ground. So that's why we should judge this government of unity on. That is, when they're saying that they're going to prioritize service delivery, is your regular Tom, Dick, and Harry going to arrive? Are they going to receive services? Okay. That's where we're saying we want to judge and see this thing if it works.
Yeah. What's the problem again, BK and all of you guys here? Why were the others not given a chance with their own conditions? If we are doing this for the people, if we are doing this for the people, why should one man be the decider of everything else? For example, right? Why should one man be the decider for everybody else? We come to you, 102 years party, right? Listen, ANC. Remember 2016 what happened at Tokodidis out of Bamklisemo? I remember.
2016.
Yes,
there was a deadlock internally because of their politics.
I was in that dinner that they made to introduce it to the city. I don't know if you were there as well, 2016. Go Innovation Hub. I've got a picture as well. I was there. And I like the leadership. She's very good. She's very humble. She's very welcoming, blah, blah. But the people of China said, it
was internal politics and factions of the ANC.
And it never went to pass. We lost municipality Kamgatson. Fine. Now, the other parties, which are very pro-black, now I'm not going to be ashamed to say I want a pro-black party. We have Freedom Front Plus, which is pro-white. Now they've, BK, they said they've reached the agreement Zaman. Ken? The new premier, we are Northern Cape, Zamani.
Zamani Saul, and then the VF Plus now is endorsing him because the ANC is pro and not fiddling with Orania.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
For the ANC, Northern Cape has agreed with Freedom Front Plus that for their endorsement, they won't interfere with Orania. That is their
Also
condition.
seeing it on social media, actually. I just saw it now as I was sitting here.
Okay, so but so I mean, if ANC can be able to compromise that deep, to say a white-only enclave will be protected by us, but when a party like MK comes and says in Ramaphosa, then in Nakano is a no-go area. What does it say to the people of South Africa? That's supposed to be fighting for.
But also, that's not true.
Oranje has always been here. It's not the first time.
No, Oranje is after 94.
Yes.
When they gave like Ngonyama Trust, that thing, the telecom when he signed Kabomu, I bang Ngonyama Trust as trying to cause another war. He said that I can't put a name in the paper because it's another faction, it's another friction between black people. That Oranje was bought as a plot, as a farm, ne? Where they will be put there, they will stay there, and then blah blah blah. Why do we endorse that? Why do we endorse that? Better know we are non-racial. Mandela went to Oranje the first time. I was so surprised. I'm like, this guy we rang. He went there, drank Tilimo, said, is that how we now say to people, guys, please forgive. We beg you for us to forgive you for.
But that's why non-racialism is rhetoric, because the uneducated are black, the poor are black, poverty is black, teenage pregnancy is black, everything is black that is negative in this country. And then you're gonna come and say you are a non-racial organization. You must be intentional. You must be intentional and be the one that says, no, I'm going to take these people out of poverty. You cannot be saying, no, poverty exists between blacks and there's also whites. No, you must be intentional, because when a black man's household is in disarray, it means the entire street is in disarray, the entire community is in disarray, which means then you've got a problem with black people, and now then you blame them when they go and steal. Who created the problem?
You understand?
And who exacerbated the problem? It was you. And also, this issue that the people voted, they decided that they do not want a majority. What actually these elections mean is that the people want an MK ideology. And they moved away from an ANC, non-racial, and all of these things.
What's that ideology, MK?
Sorry? No. The MK is unapologetic, pro-black, pro-land, pro-state bank, pro-free education. There's no debate about that.
Are we still having that way ANC? Pro-black, pro-land, pro everything.
The MK, which majority of them went government, suddenly woke up and decided we're gonna be pro-black. Or what happened? What epiphany hit them?
Was the ANC pro-black from the beginning?
Was there something that happened that they realized?
I'll tell you what happened.
We are out of government because we want to rule until we die. No. Let's make sure now that we try appeal to black people.
No,
and
that's just propaganda.
That
you know what happened?
The truth. They weren't just wakes up.
What happened was that they went and put a dark cloud over radical economic transformation.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at it and you unpack it, you look at the issue of a state bank. You look at the issue of a national pharmaceutical company that even President Zuma said must be the company that is the one that distributes ARVs and not Aspen, the same Aspen that funded Cyril Ramaphosa.
Yes.
Now, RET speaks about the issues of addressing issues of black people, but them and the media came and said that thing is for looting and all of that. So what happened was that we woke up and said, no, the ANC of Ramaphosa and his handlers are not gonna roll out these policies. So we're gonna move and go this way, which is why Zuma has been clear. We want the policies of the ANC to be implemented.
Why couldn't he be president? Why couldn't he be clear as president?
Yeah, but why couldn't he what?
Okay, sharp.
Why couldn't he? I wanna respond to that.
Why couldn't he what?
No, let him finish.
I'm
saying, why couldn't all these magical things that he's saying now say it when he was president of
okay,
the
no,
but
you cannot be saying that, because what I'm telling you now about the pharmaceutical company is he said it when he was president.
10 years.
The issue of the post bank and the banking license was the issue when he was president. When Unhlanhla Nene was there and he proposed the issue of a state bank, then something happened, and then he withdrew all of that, and he was removed. It was very decisive. But now, it's very decisive. That means it doesn't play with power. But now the issue is this. You have got an ANC, NEC, which is very compromised, which is bought. Now, when you've got conferences that are bought and you've got a president that is bought by $1 billion, including by the company, which is Aspen, whereby after he wins the conference of the ANC and becomes president, Aspen gets the contract to distribute ARVs. So you are looking at the ANC and you are asking yourself, which pro-black president is going to be able to implement policies without the pushback of Abo Swanepoel that are at Luthuli House, Abo Derek Henekom, which are in the leadership structures, Abo Pravin Gordhan, and all of these sellouts of the SACP, which claim that no, we are non-racial and all of these things. No, the ANC was infiltrated deep from the 1920s when the SACP was formed, to Abo Joe Slovo and all of these guys, which is why even the Freedom Charter has changed its complexion. The Freedom Charter, now you are told that no, land belongs to all who live in it. That is not; those are not the politics we come from, and that viewpoint was influenced by the SACP. Yeah, which means there was an infiltration. So, which black president is gonna implement RET policies which are pro-black when you are in the ANC? Because you're gonna have about Derek Hanekom and the funders which are gonna fight you. That is why Zuma could not implement all these things. It's as simple as that, and it's logic.
Okay, all that we have seen, Kgosi. Is simple. The break from the ANC by the MK, they've heightened. What you call this, traditional lines in terms of policy. People vote on cultural lines now. If you see what's happened in KZN, that is what we've seen. They must not cry pro-black, 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 pro-black. When in actual truth, they're instigating this thing of cultural lines of voting. So our issue was very simple.
What about DA?
When this going back to the GNU, that's our debate. Am I
no, there's a point here. Yes. Or a point
GNU. So, if you are so pro-black, why is it when the party approaches you to say, let's form a government, you still want to fight the men, not play the ball? That is where the first bone starts. Yeah. And then now that they went to the DA, it's an issue. Where else you are the first option that they went to. Okay. Let's begin there.
Isn't maybe the reason all he has articulated BK about the reasons why they don't want Ramaphosa, because he's been compromised. Maybe that's the whole reason why they want him out, because he's been compromised deeply.
But who goes and sorry for interrupting you.
Isn't that maybe the reason that they will say, no, we don't want you because you're compromised. We know how deep you are in the white monopoly capital, whatever. So we don't want you anymore because of that. Is it maybe could be the reason? And why can't that reason be entertained as well?
You know what I like about what you are saying? Everything that you said, it may be correct, but everything goes down to agreement. You should have left the man, played the ball. If you guys have a concrete agreement that says that this is what we are wanting, this is what we want to push, the person becomes a figurehead, and your policy is allowed to stand in the document. Hence, we are debating even Helen Zilla's point of view of how she translates that document. So with a pro-black, as you're saying, hypothetical, the pro-black, as they say themselves, they are pro-black, but they are packed.
Manifestos.
Let's put it that way.
They speak.
If really they were genuine, that would have been the first thing. Play the ball, not the man, because you want the policy direction of South Africa to go a certain direction. That's where your argument goes. How do you make sure that these pro-black policies are implemented? Leave the men play the ball.
No, but can I just answer? Sorry that I want to intervene there, because everything that he said is exactly what we are saying. Each and everything that he said, he represented me sitting here. So why should we play the man who failed for 30 years? What is it that is difficult? What is it that is, if it was your company, seeing that maybe the person, your CEO, is not delivering, would you keep on? I heard what you said. You said you guys want to lead till Jesus comes. So you said you want to lead, but there's a way that you put it. You guys.
You said they want to govern until they die.
Yeah, you said you want to govern until they die. Yeah,
you said
so.
you said
so.
Yes.
But you see, Now, I'm happy that you said so, because that is what we hear from social media. And most people didn't vote ANC because of the very same thing that we hear when we are frustrated about the service delivery. That's what the social media ANC people are telling us, to say you can argue, you can cry, but we are here to lead up until Jesus comes. So now the question is, if it was your own company, and then you know that you've employed this CEO, and then the company is not improving or it's deteriorating for after 30 years, would you still force people to say, no, we want this person must sit here? Don't you maybe want to restructure and maybe think of, let's put this person? So because now, why am I saying so? I'm now coming to the fact that you are saying to this gentleman, they must leave the person and focus on what. How do we, because you are employed, brother, I am employed. If I don't perform, I'm removed. I'm removed. You can't say, no, we want to lead until we die, and then at the same time, don't leave Melita, let Melita sit there. We want Melita.
Yeah, all right.
No, let me answer to Mama, because she was posing the questions at me.
Okay.
First of all, Mama, we said to them, Ramaphosa, let me start on the Ramaphosa issue.
Yes.
Ramaphosa was elected by a conference that he'll be the president of the ANC. That's the first.
Okay.
Number two, the mandate that Ramaphosa was given was to clean the ANC, a renewal process.
Okay.
So the outlook that says that Ramaphosa has failed, where is it coming from? Because what we are seeing is a Ramaphosa fixing the 9 years that are ruined by Zuma.
The 30 years.
No, the 9 years.
No,
the
because
the 9 wasted years by Zuma. That's the first.
Okay.
But the most important point, Mama, is that we are saying, it's like me, as you said, if I hired a CEO in this company,
Yes.
Let's just say, for argument's sake, the company is McDonald's.
Okay.
How can I allow a Burger King to tell me to fire my CEO? Because if Burger King's concern is that is the public receiving burgers, it will partner with me and make sure that the public is receiving burgers. Am I not correct, ma'am?
Okay.
So
Before you go further,
can I finish?
I want to interrupt you, because you are not comparing apples to apples. So the beggars and the people are two different things.
So
you can't take this example and use a beggar. We are human beings. We are not beggars.
No,
so
I never said you're a beggar.
Don't use
I said that. But you gave me the company.
Don't use an example of a beggar.
Okay, let me answer
Use
that.
example of human beings.
Okay, let me answer you.
Yes.
So the primary thought should be service delivered. So I will never, another company can approach another company and tell them that remove your CEO.
Yes.
That company has its own internal processes and its mechanism that it operates on. Same as this one. If the primary concern of the company is that services is reached to the public, it will make sure that it partners and installs the right mechanism in the partnership agreement that the services reach the people. So if you're going to start on a point of addressing an issue of service delivery, on a point of individuals, we would be sitting there discussing the whole list of MK, the whole list of ANC. So the point is that now that the public have voted, and generally, so 40% of South Africans say that we believe in this Ramaphosa. They voted. Are you saying that their vote is insignificant, ma'am?
No, ANC should have at least get 50%. 40% means that they failed.
But they got what they got.
But they failed dismally. And
so I'm asking: is the public's view that voted in irregular? I'm just asking that question.
Okay, but I'm answering you. I'm a public. If I'm an ANC, I am not proud to see that I'm actually going down to 40% rather than being 50%. And if I'm in ANC, it says to me, I should worry. What is it that I'm doing wrong? If I'm a pro-ANC person, I cannot be resting and saying, when people are frustrated, who I feel that they are part of my party, and then I'm fighting them, I would worry to say, these people are talking, there's a problem here. So because what I'm hearing, of which we are doing a good job, I like that. We are doing a good job because we are defending ANC. But ANC is not defendable. It's not defendable. It's chaotic. No, it is true. It is true. The service is poor. Everything is just rotten. But now with the new... No, wait. Can I just finish?
The
fact that we've now voted this time around, we are hopeful that with this whatever that they are forming, at least things will change. You can defend ANC as much as you like. We love ANC. Some of us, we from ANC, or we still maybe in ANC, but The reason we are talking is because we want ANC to go back where it was, or the ANC be the ANC without being defending. Because right now you're defending them, and I'm appreciating that you are defending them, but they are not defendable. One day I'll join you. I'll join you to defend them.
The sad point is this. The sad point is they moved from 57% and went all the way to 40%.
Yeah.
And yet they want to defend that individual and want to blame Zuma for the failures of an individual where he failed to win the trust and the hearts of South Africans. Why do you blame Zuma for that? Because now when you look, that's why I said earlier on, look at what it means if the MK goes up to 15% and the NC loses 17%. It means there are individuals that don't agree with this narrative of theirs, which we know is an Edward Bernays a psychological thing, who's the father of propaganda.
Yeah.
Where you push the same narrative, 9 West stages
until it becomes
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So there are people that don't believe in this thing. And this issue of them saying tribal lines, again, it's propaganda because politics is constituency based. The DA has got a white constituency that they protect. Zuma has got a constituency in KZN. You can't now want to fault him and want to call that names. He understands politics of numbers, understands the politics of constituencies. Do you know who doesn't understand those things? Julius. Because Julius, in his home base, he should be mopping the floor with the ANC in Seshego, but he's not. He should be mopping the floor with the ANC in Limpopo, but he's not. He's being rejected. But Zuma is not rejected by his own people. What does it mean when your own people reject you and then they endorse someone else? Now he's gonna say the ANC is a national organization. My point is, when you are a new party, you need to be strategic. You need to understand the constituency-based politics. Now, MK emerged in Mpumalanga, KZN, and some parts of Gauteng. Now, what are you gonna? You're gonna go in Mpumalanga and wanna go through the tribal lines and check where it was Zulus there, it was Swatis there, it was Ngunis there. No, you can't do that. He just simply understood politics. The DA, VF Plus, Musutu Votela, VF Plus, Musutu. No. Right? The DA is 99% white people. Do we say that the DA is a racist party?
Or tribal party?
Oh, the tribal party. The Afrikaner party, VF Plus. So now, when you see, the problem is this rhetorics of this, non-racial, none this, none that. Because when you look at South Africa and you measure the social ills and the problems that are there, you need to enter the space of being real and understanding that no, we've got tribes, we've got races, we've got black people, we've got women going through these issues. But if you're going to want to blanket everything, you end up misdiagnosing the problems of South Africans, and you end up throwing labels that shouldn't be thrown at people and problems and even political results. You've been clobbered, Chief. Let it go.
Okay. If I start a political party, and Batakohe one support, smart same township. If I start a party and Tona people over and support, am I being tribalistic? Because
before I answer your question, I'm gonna go back to Mama, and then I'm gonna go and I'll end with yours.
Okay.
Mama says a very important point that they want services.
Yes.
They are tired of the same old promises. Hence, the vote went this way. So with this GNU, which I'm speaking on, I'm not leaving the debate on it. I'm still speaking on it.
All of us, don't worry.
I'm sticking to the point. I'm saying that with this GNU, we are hoping that that's why we want every party to come on board.
Yes.
That where our blind spots are, because the public voted for the ANC,
yes,
every blind spot is met.
Okay.
On terms of service delivery, so that everyone can see the government work, a government that is working. And ours is very simple. It's going back to the ground. So for instance, going back to the ground simply means that each and every opportunity from government, you make sure that every person is aware of. So we see what Panyaza did in Gauteng in trying to fast-track service delivery.
Yeah.
And we cannot ignore it. That is actually the blueprint of what each and every premier president is supposed to be doing in South Africa.
Yeah.
And we are saying that this is what we want. Hence, when we said we want to look at this on a service delivery basis as the youth, we wanted to reach that place that it's amplified service delivery in South Africa. Because what people are saying is that the policies of the ANC are not the issue. They are the correct policies. But we fail to see the policies work because on a slow implementation.
Of the ANC, right?
Of the ANC.
Yes.
That they are not moving, they're not fast tracking it They are moving very slow at a slow pace.
Okay.
That's what the public have been saying.
Yes.
So hence when they said that the GNU is formed, it was on a point of service delivery. And when we got here, we said that we can't debate it on policy because we don't see the two merging. We want to put it on service delivery. Is our services being met? Is unemployment being fed? Is NSFAS being available to everyone? Is this NHI that has just been signed going to work?
But those are policies,
yes, of the ANC, which cannot be removed.
All right.
So that's why I'm saying. That's why we are saying that the policies that were there, the public is saying it's not a problem. The problem is fast tracking it.
But let me ask you this one before Jolapin. If they go to policy, what the DA Stevenson said, and all those policies are outlined, right, by the ANC. So let's say we stick by this, and then the partner pillar, because I'm not gonna include Bawam because they're not partners. That would be neat. Partner yabo need the GNU, the DA. No, we don't agree with that. What will be your stand as the Youth League? And what will be your stand as the ANC Youth League Vele? Now the policies, the ANC, all those, NEFSAS, NHI, you can name them, right? Now they are demonized like the RET, which is very unfortunate because RET was an ANC policy. Yes or no? I get. But then just demonized to be a faction, Zuma, stealing and whatnot. So now let's say all of these things are now being demonized as RET was by the partner, GNU, this coalition. I don't want to call it GNU. This coalition. What's going to be your stand as ANC Youth League?
The ANC Youth League emergency unit of Tshwane still says that we are not going to support anything that is anti-us.
Okay.
We are going to stand firm that we want service delivered rapidly. So we want education to be given to us for free, and be accessible to everyone.
Yes.
We want every young person to be able to get a job that pays well.
Okay.
We are not going to compromise on those, and we are going to stand firm on those.
Yeah. All right. That's something I can speak because I fit.
I even lost my chain of thought on this question.
I lost
this chain of thought.
Yeah, it was too long.
Yeah, it was too long. So, my chain of thought. So yeah, but in closing for ourselves, I think we've been here for long.
Yeah, 3 hours now.
In closing, we are saying that the verdict is still out on this government of national unity.
Yeah.
Until we see, number one, the parliament, the ministerial committee formed. Number two, the fast tracking of service delivery, and if service delivery actually reaches the people.
Yeah.
And number three, as youth, we want employment. That is the first on our agenda, that we want employment for every young person. And also the last one is that NSFAS must remain free to everyone.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Mama, conclude your point, fellow.
Yes, I think for me, the GNU that we were discussing, we are looking forward to it, and hopefully maybe it will bring good news for us as people of South Africa. But I'm thinking that the focus as well is the service delivery. Service delivery is very important, and with this new cabinet, personally, I'm hoping that people will be appointed based on the good track record, competency. People must be competent. And again, I'm hoping that, because that's what I've been thinking, I'm sorry that I'm saying that, I've been wondering all these years to say, does the government work like us? Do they have the performance agreements? Do they review? Do they have targets? So I'm hoping that this is what is going to be a music, like all of us, where you have to account. You are going to have to sign the contract at the beginning of the year, and you are going to be measured, and you are going to say if you didn't get what you get. So, in other words, it's not a matter of money is given, and then people just report to say something is done. If it is you, Kgosi, that he reports to you, I think you should get out and make sure that what you've been told that is done.
Yeah.
Because it seems the top guys have been lied to say something's done. Utator Ramaphosa is very, very, very good. He's a good speaker, and when he speaks, like today I was listening to him when he was being a son or whatever, he speaks well, and you have that thing to say, South Africa is coming good, and we can see that he counted each and everything that actually I was hoping that he will speak about, but then the people under him going down. So that is what I'm hoping. Have performance agreement like us, have targets like us, account. That is what I'm hoping.
See?
Yes, I think what she meant is that he's a good stage performer. Yeah, I think that's what she meant.
With a script.
Yeah, no, he's a good stage performer. He's a good public speaker. He knows how to perform. He's an actor, basically.
Okay.
But now, what I want to say is, one, this is a DA-ANC plus coalition.
Yeah.
It's a multi-party coalition. And we need to understand that service delivery cannot take place without policy direction.
Yeah.
If you want to ignore policy direction and talk about service delivery, if you want to talk about youth employment, then the government has to be intentional about which youth, which age groups, which communities. You are looking at black youth that are unemployed. You are looking at black youth that are not participating in the economy. So why are those black youth not participating in the economy? You are looking at black industrialists, which are not participating in the economy. They are underfunded. You find a 25-year-old that is asked about a car and a house as collateral, when a 50-year-old in this country does not have those two things. Yeah. So now that is a policy direction, because now all these financial institutions must basically go and change their constitutions and their policies to say that when a young person enters this door, we are not going to ask for a house or vehicle as collateral. That is a policy position that must be implemented from the minister, who's the political head of the department. And the DGs, who are the academics, and the technocrats are the ones that are going to implement that. So we can't talk about service delivery and not talk about policy. Policy is going to be chaired by Ubasi, Johnston, Hazen, that policy lekgotla, and whatever that is going to come out of there is going to define the character of this GNU and the day-to-day business of running of government. And I can tell you now, you are not going to get free education. You're not going to get NSFAS. You're not going to get an expansion, an expanded program of social grants. You're not going to get an expanded program of NSFAS. You're not going to get free education and the works. Instead, we are going to move towards green energy, the same green energy in terms of the energy crisis that we have. We're going to move towards green energy, the same green energy. There is a problem even in Germany, because now they can't industrialize. Now they need the gas, the same gas pipeline that was bombed by America. So now they want coal from us. So now we're going to have a problem, because we're not even going to move towards nuclear, because now we need to go with what the West wants. And all of these things are policy discussions. And if you want to talk about service delivery and then talk about policy discussions, then you are fooling yourself as a nation.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Good integrity. We forgot good integrity.
Yeah. No, regulate is too much. Thank you, guys.
Call us after they have appointed ministers.
No, well, I'm going to do that. But when I see the face, and I'm going to close up mine with this guy.
What is your one prayer from this moment today, Dr. Suleiman?
I think the government has made a mistake. I don't think it's a government of national unity. It's a government of selective unity. And I'm saying they should bring in the EFF, they should bring in the MK, because essentially it's one party. EFF, COPE, MK, ANC were one party. This was the liberation movement. Why have you divided yourselves? Why have you split yourself in that manner? We need to overcome the egos, the differences, and go back to our roots and our values for humanity. They need to sit together and solve the problems together.
In a quick word, is this one of the biggest mistakes the ANC is making in this moment?
Yes. I don't think the ANC is thinking clearly. I don't think they're thinking for themselves. I think there's outside influences thinking for them.
Like who?
Foreign powers, foreign governments, corporates, and I think the ANC should go back and look at the friends that they've had. They've been in the trenches, they've done lots of things together. How can you say it's a government of national unity and exclude people that were in the trenches with you? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
I thought as much from you, Kgosi.
He summarized my argument.
At the end of the day, guys, we might laugh. It's nice. You know, it's nice and it's very enjoyable to sit like this and become friends. You know, one thing I told all the councillors who came here before the elections, ANC was here, EFF was here, I think GA as well, right? Before MK that thing. I told him, I said again, it pains me so much as a black man to see black men in different color t-shirts arguing and killing each other. It's so something. They are watching us.
Yes.
West Pakamo, wherever what people are looking and they're saying, oh, Bobo. It's so disheartening to see Muslim man going to Oppenheimer at 10 million abula busa. Mashabat at this. Ambarke Mango, Rais Muzanti. One family fragmenting all of us.
Handlers, except for MK.
Oh,
yes.
And then this started with the name. After the ANC was unbanned, when the leaders came back, they were giving all these shares and giving all these things.
Except for Zuma.
Except for Jay-Z. Whether we like him or not. The fact of the matter, he was never compromised from the beginning. When it's
recorded.
It's recorded, but you know, it's neither here nor there. My point, we are black. At the end of the day, we are as African as we are. Whether we wear yellow t-shirt or very greeny, or mama wear yellow, white, and naga whatever, we are all black at the end of the day. And those who have been putting their boots on our necks, BK, are laughing their asses off. So we need to come to I will never apologize for being black and being pro-black. I don't care who says what. They can call me names, they can do whatever. I'm going to stand for black people because first and foremost, the whole point today is because of this skin coloring. We are told we're not good enough to do anything. Now go put that one in a homeland where I was told I was independent, but I was never independent. I was just put aside because I don't want to be mixed with white people. You understand what I'm saying? Where my mother was told, when grade 2 was enough for you to be able to write your name and say name because you are black. My father, when I stand 5 was good for you to go and work in the mine. Whereas a white child, whether dumb, Steve Biko, a white child, whether dumb or smart, they'll be given every opportunity in the world. A black child, whether dumb or smart, they're not given nothing. And now, ANC, I'm going to be critical of my own organization. ANC now comes and say, I'm not a black party. What are you saying? You can't even define who's my people, who's our people.
Motive forces, exactly.
You can't even say our people. We are standing for black people. South African Native Congress, BK, and all of you. That was the ANC, Yanit. Before it was infiltrated by everybody else, whether you like to admit the facts or not. And we came African National Congress. The name always bears something like that. That's when now this whole thing of racialism, hey, we are the mother of everybody, let's just come together. It doesn't work. Just go to X, tweet and Fanak, and then you'll hear and you'll see what white people are saying about us in this app. You'll die. I am now at the moment. I've been threatened. Keep on laughing, buddy. So what? You understand what I'm saying? They are out there to get us because once again, the moment a black person stands up and say, "I'm gonna stand this," I've been called cheeky so many times. I'm like, no, you called my mother cheeky. No, don't try to think I'm her just because their skin color is the same. You understand? So at the end of the day, we are fighting one common enemy. Who are we inviting in this nonsense? This nonsense, eh?
Because of non-racialism.
Because of that.
And yet our people are black.
But because everyone was given a last time to close.
Fine. I'm closing at the moment. So we need to come to a point of we are as black as we are supposed to have been. We must stop compromising ourselves. We must stop compromising our blackness. We must stop being apologetic about being African. I don't care who hates me. It's fine. I don't care who says what about me. I don't care. I don't like to be liked by anybody because of the truth they keep lelang. At the end of the day, we are Africans. We need to stand on that.
This morning, remember, I came 5 o'clock because I thought we were meeting 5 o'clock. So what I did, I went to Kit Kat, and I'm glad that you speak about this. I went to Kit Kat to buy some groceries. And if you go to Kit Kat, I think they still remember me.
Yeah.
Just because I'm driving a black car, This guy said, yeah, you ANC person, you've been eating. And they
Allah.
were happy. They were happy. They voted. They're happy for what? DA. Because now you've been eating our money. And he said to me, no, I don't have a house. They took my house, this and that. I am telling you can go to Kit Kat, and Kit Kat will tell you. I had to say, guys, we are so misinformed. And why do you even look at me and you think I'm an ANC? They said ANC because you know that you have money, you drive expensive cars.
Yeah.
Just because my car is black. This morning,
Imagine.
It's the character of the NC.
Yeah,
this
but
morning.
but
So you see,
anyway,
we're defending our ANC, but now we are divided. People are swearing at us
opening
for
a debate
NC.
now. And I'm
no,
gonna
it's fine. We are done.
unless you want me to end.
No, we are done. So thank you very much, gentlemen and ladies, for taking your time, and Data Man for being with us today, Kgosi FM, maybe about our show, yeah, Kgosi live show. We took 3 hours, man. It was beautiful, beautiful discussion. Our enemy more political. There's no enemies in politics. There's no permanent enemies in politics.
Impartially.
So it might come to a point where maybe you don't agree or disagree with some other points. It's fine. It's the nature of politics. So this show will always be here Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays. Thursday was just an exception today because I got them up, and let's meet up tomorrow. Listen, we're gonna go to YouTube now. You're gonna get this video down there. Please subscribe, like, and share our content, and comment as well about what you think about this show, and tell us what you want to talk about as well. So guys, BK, you're welcome here every day. Whatever you want to come, please. Mamzo Loena, please. Thank you so much for being here, my love. It was beautiful.
By the way, MK won all 6 by-elections that were taking place in KZN in Umzumbe local municipality.
Is it?
Yeah, all we are waiting for now is ANC and IFP councillors to resign so that we have by-elections and we clobber everyone there. We take state-powered local government.
Yeah, no, that's politics for you. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night. We love you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.